And across the world and across the Whoniverse, again on a Tuesday afternoon UK time, but whatever your time zone, Type 40 Live Doctor Who Talk is here again for more casual chatter, chit-chat, cross-dimensional chit-chat, I like to call it. And yes, I am Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks, and this is the Spacebook, the best channel that you'd never heard of. And if you are joining us for the first time this afternoon, I hope you've got a mug of something. Could be hard or could be soft. Actually, if you're in Wales, yeah, you'd better get the hard stuff in now, because I've just heard that apparently you won't be able to buy it after 6 o'clock today. Different rules all over the UK. I can't keep up with any of it. But yeah, it's nice to have you all here. Nice to have you back for more of our usual shenanigans on a Tuesday afternoon. Talking about good old Doctor Who. Last week was fantastic, wasn't it? The Doctor Who Day extravaganza that we had. A nice big party. The only thing missing really was streamers and kazoos, but we got everything else. We got lots of news stories, hadn't we? We got lots of tangents that we dipped in and out of, and we announced our companions of 2020, of course. So if you did miss that, you'll be pleased to know you've got several ways to catch up with it. More on that a little bit later. But yeah, we've had an influx of new subscribers, I noticed. People, I think it's probably because a couple of us were over on the Nerdrotic channel at the weekend, having a good old moan with Gary Beekler and various people like that. So that was lots of good fun. If you are joining us for the first time, thanks for coming. Welcome to the channel. Take an easy chair, grab a drink, and yeah, let's talk about Doctor Who. Since that last show, though, I think within a few hours, we had a couple of news stories break, hadn't we? In fact, we broke one exclusively on this show. That was really, really cool. The new Omega, of course, Brian Blessed playing the new Omega in that audio story. So that was really, really cool. And then we got the big finish. They announced the end of their main range, didn't they? That multi-Doctor story. But after that, the news kept coming, didn't it? Within a few hours, I think there was another story, then another story the following day. So we're going to play catch up with some of that, chew a little bit of fat, and answer questions from the live chat, because there are lots of people out there watching. Hello, good afternoon, or good morning, Andrea. If you just climbed out of your hole, was it? Read your message before we come on. We'll come to that in a moment. But let's let some of the companions in, shall we? Who should we throw in first? There he is. You're going to like this. Should I throw him in now? He's mid-drink, I think. Yes, the original Whonitic. And my brother from another regeneration cycle, Simon Horton. Welcome.
Hello, Dan. Yeah, I am. I'm mid. I'm mid cup of tea slurp. I've got my Christmas mug.
Yeah.
Well, it is the 1st December. I've got my first Christmas jumper.
Is that a Christmas jumper?
Yeah, well, it's Christmassy, isn't it? It's an old-fashioned style Christmas jumper back in the sort of 70s, really. Yeah. And you might just about well, see there if I move that. Yeah, you can see I've got my Christmas lights up there at the window. So yeah, we're you know me, Dan. I love Christmas. This is my absolute favourite time of the year. So I do Christmas big.
You certainly do. I forget this. I forget how much you love it, and then you do your thing over on Facebook, where you take a couple of pictures of your setup, don't you? Put it on there, and it looks like something out of a Christmas catalogue. Absolutely beautiful. I've got to raise my game. I sincerely have got to raise my game. I wonder whether she has. Let's see. Let's check in with starry-eyed girl Sarah Graham and see if she's in the Christmas spirit yet. What do you think? Here she is. There we are.
Hello. Yeah, I am. Look.
Hello, Sarah.
I can't do it that way.
Hey, we've got the tinsel going on.
Rosie, we're letting the side down here. I blame her.
Yeah.
Blame
And
Rosie,
we got to wear a Christmas jumper, and I thought it might be too much. So yeah, we were thinking the same things.
Yeah. It's 1st of December. Come on, time for Christmas jumpers to come out.
I don't know if you can see, but the Dalek behind. I can't do it. Which way am I going? That way. That way. I'm such an
You're in the Christmas spirit already, haven't you?
I've got a Christmas hat on, And I've got the wiggly cactus. Can you remember from the Christmas show that we did?
Oh, yeah. The wiggly grip from last year's Christmas show.
And you'll be pleased to know, everybody, because we made a Christmas show last year. And then lots of things hit the fan back here, and I never posted. So there'll be 2 Christmas editions of the show going up on the channel this year. We can go back in time, proper Doctor Who style. Yeah, we'll go back to pre beer bug times. But yeah, you've got the tinsel up. So Rosie, I'm going to put you in charge of decorating the grotto this Christmas.
Needs more work.
Delegate. Yes. Oh, yes, you're okay then, sir. It looks like your adipose is sat on your shoulder there from this angle.
It does.
We've got several other people climbing aboard here. Yeah, I wonder if he's eating. He usually is when I throw him into the mix. Let's see if we can catch him off guard. It's our friend, the Mega Geek, Ian David Diaz. Welcome aboard.
I'm not eating. I'm drinking.
Not this time.
Not this time. My slave hasn't come in with my food.
Keep hydrated. Oh, forget you've got staff, haven't you?
I've got staff somewhere.
There you go. As befits a man of learning.
Gallifrey. Remember Gallifrey, everybody? Do you remember?
Back in the good old days.
Isn't that planet that keeps bursting into flames?
That's right.
Whenever any writer seems to need it to.
Right.
It's most
destroyed every week and then brought back from a pocket universe every other week.
Absolutely.
I can feel my mind getting addled already. I need to be talk. I need some sense and reason. I think we need somebody from up north somewhere, really north, in fact, maybe north of the border or over the border. You see where I'm going with this? Let's bring him here. Get on with it, Hadley, says JT.
Yeah, get on with it. Heaven's sake.
Good afternoon, my friend. Okay?
Hello, Facebookers.
Hello. Do the perspective, the Father Ted perspective shot, that is, isn't it? How are you, mate? What are you up to this week?
Well, I'm still doing some work. Obviously got some work still to do.
Right.
And unlike Simon and Sarah, I haven't even looked at my dusting off my baubles yet and getting them out. So that will be happening probably at the weekend.
Yeah, enough about your manscaping schedule. What are you going to do about the house? You haven't
It'll
got
be
a Christmas...
ablaze with fabulousness.
That's not a Christmas jumper. You are in a woolly, but it's not a Christmas jumper. Let's clear that up. Yeah.
Well, it's a wee bit cold here. Just a wee bit cold.
I imagine it is. Let's have a look, everybody, and see. Oh, we've got a veritable parade of messages in the chat. Yes,
I love a parade. Our
favourite blue bonnet Whovian just crawling out of her hermit's hole. Yeah, sorry to wake you. glad to have you here. Haven't seen you around for a while. Who else we got? Oh, there she's, bless her heart, to support Starry and Dan. Lovely.
Not the rest of us then.
Yeah, not me.
You have to wait your turn.
Don't count.
Who else have we got? Who else? Gary. Gary's back. Oh, they're talking amongst themselves. People keep doing that. Gary Akers, our mate here. There. He's who else have we got? Vanessa. She's back. Some people never learn, do they? She's back
Vanessa.
every week.
Hi, Vanessa.
I love Vanessa.
She deserves a medal, does Vanessa? Yes.
She does.
And there's Derek Paul Brady watching on YouTube, not Facebook. Good afternoon, my friend. How are you? Oh, we've got Duncan Shaw. The only other planet mentioned in the same system as Gallifrey was Khan. That's
correct.
Throwing in the trivia already. Throwing
Right, here we go.
Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, people expect us to be... Oh, dear, there's another one here. I think, yes, Mr. Hyde says, I'm getting my... I bet you are, mate. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Oh, you're sparkly, though, Mr. Hyde.
He's incorrigible.
Mine is sparkly. Mr. Hyde sparkly.
Yeah.
Answers in the chat, please, Mr. Hyde. We need confirmation.
Absolutely.
Sparkly.
It's clearly very cold wherever Mr. Hyde is. It's clearly very cold.
You know my car never blows up, don't you? Because it's full of rain.
Well, some of mine light up, Sarah.
Yeah.
I think we...
Mine flash.
It's not even Christmas yet, and you're getting all the Christmas smut. We're going to be out of material. We're going to be out of material by the 15th.
No, we won't. Oh, yes, we will. Oh, no, we won't.
Oh, yes, we will.
They're good times. Oh, here we are. We have confirmation already. That's very cool. Mine are dark blue.
Nice.
TARDIS blue.
Very classy.
Yeah, very classy.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very, very chic. Yet last week we had our big Doctor Who Day extravaganza. It took me a good 48 hours to recover, everybody. I don't mind telling you. I could barely contain
easy.
I'm still going through therapy.
But from my choice of companions of the year, was that who's going, what the hell, who's he picking there? It was so funny. Oh, we've got Java Bean beaming in from Australia.
Hello.
Mine are Sweaty in Australia and Charlotte Shields. Anybody joining in where will be confused.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I thrive on.
Like.
That's our level, isn't it, Simon?
Absolutely. We're confused ourselves.
Oh dear. And
I'm
Duncan
Aquarius.
Actually, what time of year is that? Oh, I'm terrible with that. I'm terrible with star signs.
Any age. The age of Aquarius. Any time is my age.
That's the way to keep it going. Duncan says, what are we going to get for Christmas? Those living creepy snowmen from one of the Matt Smith episodes. Do you mean it's Christmas ornaments? Do you think that's what he means? I've got a couple of Doctor Who bits that I hang on the tree and bits for around the house. I am looking forward to getting it all out.
We need to see those, Dan. We definitely need to see those.
Yeah. I think so. Oh, and we've got somebody. This is very topical because we'll be talking about some of his or her or their, whatever it is, fellow pod people later on. We've got a Sontaran Bile says, nice collection, JT. I think they're talking about what's behind you, not the board.
Thank you, Sontaran Bile.
I think. And yes, Duncan's just letting us know he's from North Carolina. They're from all over the world. We've got people beaming in.
That's brilliant. I don't even know where North Carolina is in America.
North
America
Carolina.
is America. Hey, I have no
North
idea.
Carolina.
No, I'm terrible with geography. I'd make the worst space traveler. I think I'd be okay with the time part. You know.
Yeah, it's just when you arrive somewhere, you think, where the hell is that? What part of the earth is this on? No.
Yeah, I'm sort of second guessing that now as I'm speaking. Yes, last week we had all that. We had a couple of nice announcements, but I think the one announcement that we could have done with Simon on Doctor Who Day.
I know what you're going to say.
Was it the day after that we got
this? The day after. Day after Doctor Who Day. What were they thinking?
Yeah,
well, what happened?
That one.
Oh, of course.
They revealed the very next of the Blu-ray box sets that we've been. I think lots of us have been tweeting at poor people like Chris Chapman. Hi, Chris. Chris is so forthcoming and lets us know what he can, when he can. But various other people, when's the next set? What's happening? When's it coming? What's it going to be? But eventually, yes, we did get this confirmation that it was going to be season 8 from 1971.
Lovely.
And Sarah, I've got to get the lava lamp out to work. Look at that.
I love this era. Oh, just look at them colours.
I know. It's the colour of on John Pertwee's clothes to begin with. I'm just suddenly excited just looking at that outfit from Terry.
I don't like that cover. It looks
really?
It looks like he's fat or something like that.
Has it done the reverse image again like they did?
It looks like like sometimes when you see a poster and it's of a certain person, this looks like they took the picture, his head from some other picture.
But unfortunately, this is what they always seem to do. They do. I mean, they mess with the images on the front covers more than I would mess with them. Because the first Pertwee on season 10 looked weird because I think again they've done that. They've taken the head from one shot and put it onto the body from another shot. I feel that they mess with them too much.
Because the Tom Baker one looked really good on when they released his one. It was really good. It looked, all the other things inside of him are like him. It looks all right, but this one just looks weird.
Having said that, I just love the overall design. The graphic design that they've gone for on these box sets, I love. I love the picture that you can see there from Colony in Space on the inside cover, and the picture from Terror of the Autons you can see on the booklet. I love what they've done with them. I just love the overall design.
Yeah, I think if you look, when you're familiar, JT, with virtually every stock photo in Doctor Who history, you can often pick out which two, the brilliant Lee Binding, or I do consider him to be the very best at what he does, but you can work out which two he's used, can't you? Don't you find that?
Oh, absolutely. And I've noticed with these covers as well, they have to have the hand in, don't they?
Yeah.
With something in it. So there's that with all of that. That hand has to have something being held, which
Yeah.
is season based. It mustn't be.
Yeah.
It mustn't be an easy task for Lee, and I would be very surprised if it's more than 2 that he has to use, and somebody else's hand occasionally or something like that. But
well, it's clearly not John Pertwee's hand.
no, probably. No, is there enough rings on it? I don't.
Well, that photo does not exist, and I think that's true of all of these covers where they've got the hands in. They're clearly grafted on the hands, and I'm not entirely. It feels a little bit contrived to me to have this hand in holding something.
Yes.
I would skip it personally, but hey.
Yeah, and I've noticed as well that each box has a version of the TARDIS with something as well on the what looks like a flap thing there.
The interior,
So
Lovely touch.
It's a nice touch. It's part of the series. It is what it is.
They seem to go for that inside cover, which, as I say, at the moment on this one we've got an image from Colony Space, and I think I'm right in saying that the TARDIS is the same on every one. It's the same size and the same position, and they then put stuff around it to make it appropriate to that season. So again, for me as an OCD sufferer, that's great. It ticks all the boxes. And again, the same on the back cover. They thematically link all of the backs of the boxes, so it looks very pleasing. Which is why, going back to what I said last week, I'm going to be furious if they ever change that logo. It'll mess up everything.
When's this one available, please, everybody, so that the viewers
February,
know?
I'm being told.
This one is out, yes. Now they'd originally put it down because I've found this quite amusing, particularly because Simon and I, we've been covering on this channel. We've been covering every Blu-ray set pretty much, haven't we? So we've noted this, and we always do our videos and put them out there with that very first date, which of course always changes. They never meet the date. This time they just said, JT, that it was February. But we do now have, and I thought, that's very, very wise, because if they say February the 6th, you can bet it'll be February the 26th. But now they've stated, I think, that it's February the 28th. So they've nailed it down there, which is very, very brave. They must be quite sure that they can get it to us.
So that's March then, basically. March 2021, you'll get it through the box.
Yeah, expect it. Expect it sometime in May.
I'm just looking at this poster now for it, because I've just looked it up and I've got a bigger picture of it. I really don't like this poster at all. He looks much older than he was when in season 8 in the picture, and plus he's got his hand on his jacket. And it looks like it just looks like all these things are coming out of his chest. It doesn't work as well as the Tom Baker one. I don't like it. I don't
still
like
continuity with the previous releases, though. It still looks.
I know. I just don't like it. I don't
some
know
of them work better. Some of them work better than others, don't they?
I love the colours on it. As Sarah says, the colours are just so 1973.
I like the touch of the Axon backdrop.
I think that's my favourite bit as well, because I love that story, Claws of Access. I really love it. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see what they've done. And talking of which, well, let's see. Oh, there's quite a bit of enthusiasm here. Mr. Hyde, I have all the episodes on DVD, so I'm good. We sympathise, but
I'm the same, Mr. Hyde.
I'll never take the Mickey.
I'll do a Sarah.
I'll never take the Mickey out of anybody for sticking with the DVDs when they're that good, because the DVDs were absolutely brilliant. I hope they sort out the TARDIS landing for players.
They won't do, and they shouldn't do. No, they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't do. They shouldn't tamper.
What the charm?
No,
it is. It's correct.
The purist speaks, and you know what? I've fully converted to this way of thinking now.
Well, I'm going for a Facebook user who's concerned about this. There's a theory as to why. My theory is that the reason the TARDIS, and for anybody that doesn't know what on earth we're talking about, the TARDIS arrives like that in Colony in Space rather than fades in. But there's a reason for this. The Time Lords have sent it there. It's not a normal time. It's not a normal TARDIS materialization.
I would agree, Simon. Like a trans map, just bang. Continuity. They are controlling it. They're going. Pop. Yeah. Get in.
There you go. So
I agree with that.
Is that good enough for you, Facebook user? Remember, we can't actually see who that is. So whoever you are, does that pass? Does that make sense? And let us know.
But Facebook user is correct. It does look a bit silly, but don't tell anybody.
Silly? Doctor. Don't know what he's talking about, Rosie. Who else we got? We have the pre-orders for this sold out.
Yes.
They almost certainly. Yes, they almost certainly have. I think we just take that as read now, Derek. To be fair,
I think so. Yes.
And Cliff points, isn't it a touch of classic hands-on hip-wearing cape shot of portrayal? I think so, mate. Yeah.
It is. It's from Terror of the Autons. It's the publicity still from Terror of the Autons, from the Radio Times shoot.
Certainly, almost certainly true. And we have Daniel Leach with I need to order this.
How much is it anyway? Does anybody know?
44 quid.
Yeah, this one's
not
44.
bad. That's not bad.
But it's gone at £5. It has gone at £5.
I thought
what?
so, yeah.
£5. They were £39.
Oh.
All the previous sets have been £38 to £39, or is it £39 to £40? Whatever. It's gone by about a £5.
There is that window as well, isn't there, Simon, where the price sort of, if you hang on for it, drops and zoom
I
do
think
that
it'll
thing.
come down. I wouldn't be surprised if it drops down to 40 quid again, like the other sets. But at the moment it's 44. It might be 45.
Just
a
for the
lot of them
benefit
do that,
of,
don't they? They put out a price and then it drops. It drops after a few weeks or a month or whatever, and then you get your discount and what have you. A lot of them tend to do that now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because there's... Do you think it's because there's fewer competitors than there used to be? So there's only really Zoom, HMV, and Amazon. There's only 4 or 5 places at the very, very most. And now you get people selling them in bulk, don't you, on eBay, new even as well. Not necessarily scalpers. So I think the amount of competition has sort of gone down.
Well, that's an interesting point, but also, that's a conversation because, of course, we've lost a lot of our independence over the last few years since the popularity of the show certainly started to wane. So we've only got the likes of the Who shop left, and they will sell it there, I'm sure. But it's an interesting point.
Shame.
Cliff says, I'm stuck. There's about 40 DVDs that I've not gotten yet. And now the debate is, should I give up on that? And start getting these box sets. You probably should, mate.
I would agree with that. To be able to say, Cliff, if you have that many missing from it, listen, do have a serious think about getting these versions if you still can, because remember they're limited edition, and some of them, as Simon was saying on the show a couple of weeks ago, go now for astronomical prices. So do some research first. If you're in Britain, which I'm assuming you are, and if you're not, I apologise.
Cliff's American.
Right. Well, in that case, then a lot of yours are already out of print.
For quite a long time.
Have an investigation. Have a real good think about it. But I would say if it's possible, you can get the backlog, get them.
We want the BBC to actually, actually change stuff in the other ones. We don't want the BBC to go back and then sell it.
We have an answer. I think that we've got an adjudicator's verdict here, Simon, on your explanation for the colony in space materialization. Michael Bryant's Facebook users right back with Michael Bryant always regretted the landing and said he got it wrong, but it's a good explanation that Time Lord sent him to the planet, so it's a thumbs up from me. That's more than good for us. And we have here, we've got a little screen. A screen of where is it? Yes, this is for the purposes of people who are hovering. Mr. Hyde out there. I mean, obviously, we're showing this through YouTube, and itself is a JPEG. It's a capture of what we can only get that across so far, can't we? The differences between the DVD and the Blu-ray. So it is a significant upgrade, and
it's also very interesting, of course, because what we've got to remember is that story was recolorized for the VHS and the DVD editions.
Yeah.
So that's actually, even from that image we've got there, that's looking lovely.
That's gorgeous.
You can see more detail in their hair and the eyes.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, isn't she lovely? And we've got this as well, an example of that, how they've jazzed up some of the special effects.
That's excellent.
It's beautifully done. Beautifully.
I take it you still get, guys, the original version on this.
Yeah, I understand so, because that's the CGI version. And I've always been very, very critical of the CGI on these Blu-rays. But in the trailer, you get to see that what they've done CGI-wise with the little gremlin gonk thing that the master gives.
I'm all for them
correcting
brilliant.
it.
I'm all for them correcting it, but as long as they don't correct it in such a way that actually takes your mind off what's happening on screen. Do you know
I
what
think
I
it's
mean?
important to have the two versions. Yeah, I think
it really is crucial to have those two versions. I think if they didn't, people would go absolutely mental. And I know for a start, I know this bloke would get beaming in from another planet. Just ahead of his own stream a little bit later on YouTube. It's the rabbi from another planet. Svila Lebetkin, welcome back. I can't speak.
Hello, how are you? Now, it may be tiresome. It may be tiresome to be around somebody very opinionated. It may be very tiresome. I can understand.
I don't know anybody like that, mate. I don't know anybody. Who can you be thinking of?
It's very, very tiresome being very opinionated also. Very, very tiresome. So I thought I'll just listen quietly, and go, oh, enjoy it. Sit back.
You never listen quietly, man.
No, I'm like,
what's on your minds? What's on your minds, Fee? Come on, get it offload.
Several things. Firstly, if you cannot find any DVDs and your own personal ethics are on a shall we call it a spectrum, right? there is an option. Usenet. Was the very first form of internet. They've all been pirated and posted there, like every single one. And Usenet. Usenet. It was these like talk little chat rooms that and people started posting data in them. There's a company that I used is like $10 a month they have a 3-day trial, but you have to be able to go back a long way, like 10-20 years to find when somebody posted it. But they have they go back a long way. You can get everything. Literally every DVD is posted as it came out, with 2 different versions. One when it's condensed when it was like compressed a little bit into a 3D. Was it a 4.6 gig DVD? Another one where it was like good as a 9 gig DVD. So everything. You can get everything, which is.
That's lovely. That's good.
But don't they have all the extras on BritBox?
No. We just get the stories, don't you? Yeah, you get the stories. Yeah.
You know what? Wouldn't that be a great freaking service right there? Those extras are incredible, absolutely incredible. So yeah. By the way, I love I would say anybody missing anything, just buy these Blu-rays as they buy anything as it comes out. That's actually a rule for life, I think, because if they go away and you're not going to see it again.
I've come round to that way of thinking, how much pain did I go through, Simon? Do you remember? Over that original box set.
Yeah, I remember, Dan, right back at the beginning, you were kind of reluctant to a little bit resistant to buying them. But I do understand that to an extent, because I stopped buying the DVDs literally years ago.
I didn't think the picture quality would be good enough to warrant upgrading.
I knew they would bring them out on Blu-ray at some point, which is why I stopped buying the DVDs years ago.
But the John Pertwee one, they've used the AI on it, haven't they, to make the picture much better.
Yeah,
it's slightly more. I have no idea. Bless them.
It's a complicated history.
Have I bought the season now? I bought it on VHS. Actually, I pirated it.
Yes.
Bought it on VHS. I definitely bought it on DVD. Now I'm getting it on Blu-ray as well. And
what's interesting, actually, season 8 is it's the first season that they've released that they haven't had on broadcast standard to begin with. In that season 10, they'd still got on broadcast tapes. So I don't think all of the stories were on broadcast tapes, but a good chunk of season 10 was on the original broadcast masters. Whereas season 8, we are now getting into dodgier quality pictures. And yet the trailer still looks utterly
well, I mean, what are they on? Digi was it Beta SP? Digibeta. Well, Digibeta isn't too bad. I mean, it suffers from dropout and stuff like that, but they can do that with the IA program. They can repair all that stuff.
But the point is, Ian, they're not the original. That these are dubs that were sent out in NTSC to the States, to Nigeria, all these kind of places. So they're not the original BBC tapes. They are lower quality dubs.
Yeah, but it should be okay if it's Digi. If it's Digibeta, it should be all right.
This is like, I think the third time it's been this time it's not being recolored. I think it was I think they invented it for Terror of the Autumn. Either that or
largely, I think.
Yeah. And it like tells
the demons,
on the grey page, like what color data is in that, and they extrapolate it, and it's just like so incredibly wild. But it's mental.
They were constantly making leaps. But one thing that is in crystal clear quality. Oh, and it's just as Mr. Hyde points out. Yes, there is. I saw the Katie Manning short for the Terror of the Autons. It was really good. It was indeed. And here they are. Of course, we mean this. How
you're happy.
How beautiful is this, Sarah? To see Katie Manning's shining face and Stuart Bevan there. He's twinkling, isn't he? Wouldn't you think?
Yeah,
I'd say he's twinkling.
That's a twinkle.
Touch the heart was about that man. I think they should. Sarah, could there possibly be? Do you think there could ever be a spin-off with these two?
Oh,
would you watch it? Would you watch it?
More spin-off.
I'm being playful, Ian.
I'd watch it.
I could too. You can imagine them solving environmental disasters involving giant slugs into their mid-70s.
Do you know what though? Who's going to watch it? They can't even get a target audience for the main show. They're not going to get something.
Exactly.
No disrespect to Katie, but they're in their 70s, which is a demographic the BBC does not like. No one will watch. Stop talking about spin-offs. It's not going to happen.
I don't think we're actually seriously proposing it. I think we're just saying.
No, I know, but it's not going to work.
No one's thought of that before. Do a show that you can watch with your grandparent. Like aimed at the grandparent, like no one's thought of doing that before. And
no kid would watch a show with their grandparent. What are you talking about?
There was a little.
That's not a bad idea.
Funny. You don't like being there. You can turn on the Joe Jones Adventures.
It could be the reverse of the Sarah. It could be the reverse of the Sarah Jane Adventures. Not being for kids, it could be for exclusively people who were in their late 60s into their 70s, and it could get that whole crowd on a weekday afternoon. So you can't just watch all those episodes of Columbo and Diagnosis Murder permanently on rotation, can you?
Of course you can.
A good chunk of those.
Yeah, they do.
What do you think, Simon?
Diagnosis Murder.
I
tell you, they must think Patrick McGowan lives with them. He's in that so many times.
Sorry, Simon, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, I can see that Cliff Maxwell is asking now about whether he should skip on the special edition DVDs. I can see he's commenting on that. Yes, Cliff, skip on the special edition DVDs because all of the special features are in the Blu-rays. So absolutely, save your grotzits. Save your grotzits and buy the Blu-rays.
Listen, it depends. If there's something out there you can't live without, like you need it now, do you need it now? Listen, as a crazy fan, I appreciate that. But
but if it's a toss-up between the two, basically, skip and go for the Blu-rays.
I tell you what, though. What season has come out with John Pertwee again on Blu-ray? 10. Is that the very first one was all shot on film, right? So
just the story from space, the first story.
Yeah, the very first one, right? What I'm saying
the first 4 episodes,
but has that come out on Blu-ray?
Yeah,
I haven't got that one. It has.
Yes,
it must look terrific then if it's on Blu-ray.
It looks incredible.
Incredible.
I haven't got it. I need to get it. Okay.
Well, don't wait for the box set.
Okay, I'll wait for the box set.
That's the one. It'll certainly be in the box set when it comes out.
Did they clean it up then? Did they get rid of all the specs?
It's gorgeous. Yeah. It's really nice.
All right.
Okay. Film
so what do you think they're going to do a box set of Patrick Troughton? They're going to just put it together with the reconstructions?
I think they'll put the animations in it.
Yeah,
I think we're a long way down the line for that. Once they've got more animations, I think
Do you know what, guys? I reckon those episodes exist somewhere. Somewhere in India, some geezer's got it.
Well, Simon, we've got a conversation coming out soon about that very thing, haven't we?
We have, actually.
This is one of the many, many bits. If you're new to the channel, you may not be aware that Type 40 Live is itself a spin-off from the Type 40 podcast, which we put out for the Fandom Podcast Network, and we're just launching the brand new season 3 of that now. So we've got a silly review episode where myself, Simon, and Sarah here, where we got together, didn't we, Sarah, to talk about multi-Doctor stories and that new one with David Tennant and Tom Baker on Big Finish. We talked about all of that and sort of put together our fantasy Doctor combinations, didn't we? That was a good laugh.
It was a good story.
By the way, I have to tell you, I'm 2 stories into the David Tennant River Song box set. Freaking awesome! The first story is excellent. Second story is not as good as the first one, but I'm surprised how good it is. It's like a mini season. It like slots in the special season, after Donna, and it's like she's essentially a recurring companion, and it really works. I'm surprised it really works.
Are you talking about Big Finish here?
Trying something different again.
Are you talking about Big Finish, Rabbi?
Yeah.
What? Let me get back. I'll just finish. Just gonna finish my plug. Just gonna finish my plug.
Sorry, mate. God.
In a couple of episodes' time, there's Simon and I. We've got this big missing episode of Type 40 coming out, where we got in somebody very, very special who is. I think they're on the very sort of front lines, aren't they, of the missing episodes war, the war against history to retrieve this stuff. And we asked this person some frequently asked questions, and we asked them about some urban myths about missing episodes. So if you do want to know direct from the horse's mouth, as close as you're probably ever going to get, and it may not even be the person that you think it is, then stay tuned and watch this channel.
Really?
Because
it's kind of was obvious.
Guys, do you think that someone saying India or Russia got those episodes that's missing?
Well,
and for a long time he's been using the 1-inch tapes as a doorstop or something like that. Somewhere in the world.
It is possible.
You can't get to it.
Yeah.
10th Planet episode 4 exists certainly because it went missing when somebody stole it from Blue Peter.
It's interesting that is, Rabbi, because that exact story gets discussed in our podcast and it gets debunked. It gets debunked.
Wow!
I thought that was the case as well. So you've got to listen to the podcast.
I do. You're right.
Absolute gold. Who else remembers this? This goes back to what we were talking about earlier on about when they were originally colorized and tinkered with, weren't they? For those VHS releases that the Rabbi was talking about, and they previewed the technology, didn't they? They demonstrated the technology on Tomorrow's World. I'd forgotten about this. I've got this clip on VHS somewhere where I recorded everything off the telly. But no, John, I had forgotten about it. I love the fact that is John Steed your real name? Let us know in the chat. We need to know these things.
It's a shame that episode of Tomorrow's World or an insert from has never appeared on any of the DVDs, and I've always wondered why. Right. I remember this as well, John, and I was expecting it on the DVD, and then I just thought, what's going on?
Maybe on the Blu-ray. Yeah, I hope so.
Well, maybe if anyone from the team that put the Blu-rays together now doesn't realize it was on Tomorrow's World, it is. Get to the archives if you're allowed in again and look through it because it is there. I'm sure it was Maggie Philbin. Was it right, John? Was it Maggie Philbin? Was it Judith? I can't remember.
It was Maggie Phil.
I'm sure it was Maggie.
Yeah, listen. The memory cheats. Look at that, tell you. I
haven't heard that for a while.
In many places where she shouldn't be, but so.
Gary Akers is out there. Gary Akers. God, sorry, Gary. He says on Retro Doc, as he calls himself, I would say that if you really want Hartnell or Troughton on DVD, go ahead and do it, since it will be a long while until they're on Blu-ray. Yeah. I'd agree with that, Simon.
The brilliant thing we've got going now, though, is, of course, a lot of fans are actually doing what a lot of people did before, and they're actually getting rid of their DVD collections as the box sets come out. And you can see them on various Facebook groups, including the Type 40 Facebook page. People occasionally say, I've got these, does anybody want them for this price and what have you? So you might be able to get them. And also, if you are in Britain, you can go to a lot of charity stores when you're not in lockdown, and you can see an awful lot of the Doctor Who DVDs in there, as well as people are actually getting rid of their collections.
Also, I'd just like to point out, right, that there is an AI program that I've got on my computer, and I'm trying to upscale some of my films. So just imagine in the next 10 years time or even 5 years time, there'll be a program out there that would be awesome for just ordinary people, that you can take something like an old VHS, upscale it and make it look better. So if I was you, I'd hold on to the DVDs, mate. I'll hold on to everything that you've got, whether it be DVD.
Well,
everything.
Excellent point.
Like I digitalized everything. If you want the DVDs, though, I do give them away as prizes on my auction.
Plug.
I do. It's actually a legitimate thing. I give them away as prizes on my weekly competitions. That is the cheapest way of getting them. I have a bunch of bootleg ones as well. If you get in contact,
The Rabbi's
I'll do
Bounty, as we call it. This is another question, Simon, that gets talked about on our podcast, isn't it? So, John, you need to hear the Type 40 podcast. It'll be all over this channel in a few weeks' time. Don't miss that.
Our guest does discuss that exact issue as well. He does talk about it.
All of it, yeah.
Well, I genuinely believe that there are, because we never thought we'd ever see Tomb of the Cybermen. We never thought we'd see the episodes of Web of Fear. We never thought we'd Enemy of the World. We never at one point even thought we'd see, Terror of the Autons the way we have done recently. We do take these for granted. And I just have these visions of these very certain age group of Doctor Who fans going, do you know what I mean? Yeah, but they're out there. I would say there's an awful lot of demand for. Do you remember in the 90s there was certain rumours that went on, and it was always going on about the money. If you're not going to pay us the amount we want, we're not giving you the plan. I'm sure it's down to all that sort of stuff now as well.
We have confirmation that John Steed is John's real name. Yay!
That's cool.
I'm so pleased. That would have been like finding out about the Tooth Fairy all over again. And quite frankly, in a year that we got the Timeless Children, I don't think I could stand another disappointment on that scale. Another thing I wanted to cheer you up with, Simon, is that we do get this on the next box set too. I know you're going to be thrilled, so make sure you're sat easily in your chair there, not near anything breakable.
Oh my God! Why did you have to ruin everything? For goodness sakes, what are they doing on it? Just stop this!
I disagree.
For God's sake.
This is a running joke. Let me explain for a moment. This is a running joke between myself and Simon. Every time we talk about the box sets, he hates the behind the sofa segments.
In general?
Rubbish.
I thought he just hated them.
No, the segment.
I hate behind the sofa. I think the whole feature is completely pointless. Why they've got these two on talking about Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, is ridiculous. It's pointless.
It's really easy. You want to see a story. Let's say you want to see Deadly Assassin. You don't want to sit through all 4 episodes. You get it in nice condensed, half hour, all the best bits, and you get to see a bit of Tom Baker looking confused. What more could you want? It's freaking awesome.
What's it?
Well, it's such a nice way of spending half an hour.
Do you know, that's the brilliant thing, though, everybody, about the special features. You can watch what you want to watch. You don't have to watch anything. Right. But I have to say, if I have to see another one where Janet Fielding is being Janet Fielding, but I have to also say as well, I don't understand. I'm with Simon on a certain point where I don't understand why there's new series people who are not fans who have never seen the series coming in. Now I get the link that he's the Master, and this is the first series that the Master appeared in, and also there's an anniversary for the Master coming up early in the new year. I get that link. But those two are surely going to be sitting there, or anybody from this generation of the show is going to be sitting there going, what the hell is this?
I tell you, that's why I like it. That's why I really listen.
Me too. I'm actually with you on this, Fee. I really am.
Sorry?
I'm with you completely. I
personally don't like it because they're trying to push this era onto us. True
no, well, they don't. To be fair, though, they're doing it. No, they're doing it. They're doing it with other eras as well, though, Ian. It's not just the current.
I know, and I don't like it.
Sorry, Sarah. What were you going to say?
You do. I mean, I do. But listen, I was even interested with the 2 writers. There was Joy Wilkinson, and even I was like, I can see why I wouldn't want to read.
I was interested, Rabbi, until I saw it. I lost interest. I lost interest pretty quick.
It's an interesting thing.
Sarah, over to you. Over to you, Sarah.
I was saying, Sasha is a big Doctor Who fan, so I think he has got something worthwhile to say. And I forgot what her name is, his girlfriend. I mean, she does have the link to Sarah Jane. And
she's in everything now. She's in she's like really.
It feels like.
Are they boyfriend and girlfriend now? Are they together?
Yeah, they live together.
Are they?
Been together a few years.
So that's why this is explaining why they haven't got the perspex screen between them.
They've been together for about 5 years, I think. In fact, they've recently done some sort of sponsored. They've recently done some sort of sponsored hike. I think it was from a mental health charity or something like that. It was really, really quite sweet to see what they're.
I can't help Sorry, Dan, I can't help but agreeing with Ian though on this sort of stuff that comes along, saying this era, you classic people, you will accept, and I do genuinely feel there is an element of that. I really do.
But this is the thing, right? This is what they're doing, right? And I reject it. I mean, you know, people like them on there, and people like this era. Good luck to them. I don't want to insult you or anything like that. Good luck. But for me personally, I think it's an insult to me as I call myself a true fan of Doctor Who. I don't want to be seeing those people in classic Who or any part of the making of at all.
I understand that.
Well,
I understand that, Ian.
You know how we all feel about that too. We're very much on the same page with you about that. But I think I think there are some shades of grey. There's no shades of grey about this comment though. I have to go to this. This is Stony D, who's obviously recently joined the channel.
About that as well.
I am so glad I discovered this channel. So are we, Stony
How
D.
fabulous!
I've been craving Doctor Who.
Let's go to his other comment about. Well, he had another really good comment. About the new master being into travel releases.
Into what?
What?
Okay, so in the background.
Odor eaters, did you say?
That's what I thought you said. Odor eaters.
No, he's talking about no, not that. It was in the he was talking about in the animations in the background of the Wonder
Woman. No.
You see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Ian and I agree on that one as well.
This goes to prove me and JT's point. They're shoving this stuff where it doesn't belong.
I don't think that's their motivation. Listen. I might be wrong. I'm 100% open to being wrong. Here's what I think the motivation is. I think they think
wrong.
they're being nice. I think they're being nice. I think they're being cute. They don't realize the cultural offense.
That is not true. No,
really, maybe they do.
Rabbi, you're wrong.
50-50. I think it's 50-50. I do think that they think they're being clever.
Yes.
However, when you look at the people that are producing some of these animations, they are really, really in bed with Chibnall.
Yeah.
And so I get your point, Rabbi from Another Planet. I do get that point that, you know, they think they're being clever and it's a cutie thing. However, I do think there's that underlying current of saying, let's just put that in there and piss off the people that are going to buy this, because we all know the classic DVDs and the classic Blu-rays are outselling the current Chibnall era stuff by far.
But listen, guys, how could they think that by doing this stuff all the time, by making sure that their new logos on everything classic, right? How could they think that people like us that are against this version of Doctor Who will come round to it?
Well,
it makes no freaking sense.
It's like putting you into submission, Ian. You will be hit around with this.
That's exactly what they're doing. Coming round to it. It's not an issue of us coming round. They don't think we're ever going to accept it. What you're talking about, the thing is, they want to be legitimized, right? They desperately need to be legitimized, and so this is how they see they legitimize themselves. In other words, just like, as long as I don't notice it, I'm fine, really.
In other words, what you're saying is exactly what I'm saying. That's what you're saying.
Up to a point. Simon, this is how branding's always worked, though, isn't it? Realistically. I mean, neither you nor I are big fans of this, but branding across the board.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I personally don't think there's anything in this other than, it's a BBC product. It is Doctor Who as far as they're concerned. Well, it is Doctor Who. Whether we like it or not, it is Doctor Who.
They absolutely changed things. They absolutely changed things. It was the Doctor when Rusty Davies came in, right? This is really important. They broke Doctor Who into two brands. They broke it into two brands, and they were very distinct and different. And you got licenses for different things, right? You know your brand. It wasn't necessarily one. It was Chibnall that put they were merging around the Matt Smith era and Capaldi anyway. But it was Chibnall that says, no, we're merging the brands. There is only one Doctor Who.
Yep.
Okay, right. So listen, right. So when Sylvester McCoy came on, right. It's no secret I didn't like Sylvester McCoy as Doctor at all, right? And I stopped watching it when Sylvester McCoy started happening. But this is very different. This is Jodie coming in to be the Doctor and changing the whole of what we know, the whole landscape. That's why I will not put up with the logo on our classic DVDs and Blu-rays. I will not put up with them sneaking in the people from the New Who into behind the scenes stuff. No, I'm not taking any of that nonsense.
I can
at
certainly
all.
respect that perspective, and
Yeah.
we did cover some of this ground last week, didn't we? But I think that a lot of us, we can respect how you feel about that. I think it has to be down to the individual where that line in the sand is. We've got an interesting question here. I know what my answer to it is, but I'll be interested to hear what you guys all think. Another one from John Steed. What does the panel think if they bring back the Sarah Jane Adventures, but with Sadie Miller in that role? For me, it's a no. I think the time.
I mean, like, you're talking about on Big Finish, obviously, not in the.
I think he means on TV. I think the time for the Sarah Jane Adventures is past.
Yeah,
I can accept other actresses.
Jane,
I can accept other actresses taking the role of Sarah Jane, as the rabbi says, either on Big Finish or maybe somewhere down the line. Maybe even in live action. I don't know. I'm still not quite there yet.
Do you know what would be really good?
I recognise the character as an icon of the show. And I don't necessarily think that Sadie Miller is the wrong person to play the part, but the Sarah Jane Adventures for me is done. It's a chapter that needs to close.
It might be quite good to bring back shit, I forgot her name now. The last companion that Bacaldi had. What's her name? Bill, maybe Bill as a TV show. It might be quite good because she was hardly. But the thing is, she was hardly known when she showed. I mean, I really liked her personally, but she was only in what, 2 series? Was it 2 series?
One.
Yeah, just one. She needs,
That was my favorite season. That was my favorite Capaldi season. Unpopular opinion, but that was by far my favorite Capaldi.
I liked her personally. I think what they've done with her. What they done with her was bad.
Some kind of software that would edit out her saying she's a lesbian.
Yes, I'm saying if they took all that crap out of it, she had a lot of promise. She's a very good actress, and she had a lot of promise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. The two-parter, which is a Cyberman. I wouldn't mind it. Fantastic.
Yeah,
I liked her a lot. I liked her arc. I just enjoyed that season. That was my favorite Capaldi season.
This is a very zero tolerance here from Duncan. Blanket modern TV. All modern TV is bad for you in any case.
Of course it is. It absolutely is.
I probably agree, actually.
All you look at, if you're looking at British television, and Duncan, I think you're a bro, but if you're looking at British television today, it's absolute bog standard pants. All you're getting is celebrity this and that. They're not celebrities. They're no marks who have never they'd have dragged them up from the Daily Express. But you've got all this nonsense going on. You've got reality this crap, reality that crap, because it's cheap, tacky production television. They can churn. And it's just nonsense. Yeah, sorry, I nodded that.
The scripted drama. I think the scripted drama is worse, don't you? Scripted drama is the worst it's ever been right now.
I find the drama in United Kingdom to be
funny, Gary. You're not
Class
funny.
was rubbish. Sorry. Class was absolute nonsense. Class.
So we've got a playful question there from Gary, the retro doc.
I didn't see Class, but I agree with that point that the rabbi was saying there. A lot of the drama in Britain today tends to be crime. It's just all crime. And I think it's a bit
agenda-driven nonsense. This is what drives me nuts. They say, well, listen, audiences in general are falling. It's just not to do. It's all because you just make shit. I'm sorry. Everything is like
Vanessa, it was just a thought.
Every freaking thing. I can't remember the last time I saw a heterosexual person in any form of entertainment. How are these people procreating? It's the weirdest thing. And they make boring, preachy shit constantly. And
just think,
people do anything else.
I thought this was
Netflix.
everybody.
Netflix. No, it's your making shit.
I thought this was going to be the happy section of the show. We haven't even got to the trailer yet, everybody. Hold on to your seats. Oh dear, oh dear. What else we got in the chat? Let's see what's going on. We've got more talk about Bill. She always stirs up a bit of a hornet's nest. Does Bill and people?
Does she? Why does Bill do that? Why does Bill? I thought she was a lovely character.
Yeah, it's the writers that put the crap in her mouth. You see, if you had a good writer, she's an interesting character. But I hear what you're saying, Vanessa. I hear what you're saying.
She was a reasonably interesting character, but she was fantastically played. I think
she was
more in the performance than on the page. Just
I like how she's all wide-eyed. Everything that she does with the Doctor very wide-eyed. And I think she was a great character, but unfortunately,
should be when you travel with the Doctor. I got
right. Yes.
Not impressed about anything.
Sorry, Sarah. What did you say? Sorry.
I got Clara not being impressed by anything, whereas Bill, from the moment she was in the TARDIS, she was like, wow.
Well, Clara stayed 2 seasons too long, didn't she? Let's face it.
I believe so.
Correct. Yes.
And changed personalities several times.
By the way, I think I've, if anybody's interested, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. I'm pretty sure I've worked out most of the plot of the new. Can we say new special now? We still say
in fact, I'm coming to that. Funny enough, Rabbi, I'm in a similar situation. I only watched the trailer just before we started the stream, knowing that it was bound to come up. It would be the elephant in the room if I didn't watch it. But I'll be honest, and I didn't want to watch the trailer at all. Got no interest at all, apart from just being able to field questions and have a field of reference. That's the only reason I've watched it. I believe that I saw 3 or 4 stills. I mean, I've seen the trailer now, so I can't do it. But I saw 3 or 4 stills. With that and knowing who was in the supporting cast, I'd come to that conclusion too, that I could probably
all come to the same
extrapolate the entire plot.
Yeah.
But
like Yaz is trying the TARDIS, right? Yaz
can I just establish? Are you going to play this, Dan? Are you going to play this trailer now?
I'm not.
I need to get copyright.
If you're going to play this trailer, I need to go to the toilet.
No, we're not going to play the trailer. I was going to. There were a couple of things I wanted to talk about before I got to that, but I might as well go right to it now. Okay. Yes. So when was it? When did they announce this?
No idea.
We've had the motherload, haven't we? Drop. To be fair, there are people out there who love this era of Doctor Who, and God bless them. God bless you. None of us would ever want to take that away from you at all. You go off, you enjoy it. I think the Rabbi, you always say, don't you? If it brings you the pleasure that it's brought all of us over the years in different forms,
right? Aren't we? I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Go and charge forward. But we got a few days ago. We had the warning. I won't say the promise. It was the warning that a new trailer was on the way, and a few little graphics and things like that, but of course, eventually they dropped this, didn't they? They dropped us the poster there for this new special, Revolution of the Daleks. At least they got the title of the episode right, because the woman, the star of it, doesn't seem to know what it's actually called. But that is.
Well, how would she know? She's hardly in it. She didn't
We have so obviously we've got the principal cast there as ever, all looking in completely different directions, and we've got Captain Jack holding what looks like quite an old prop there. I mean, I did see some speculation that could be an old photo, but I think it is a new photo. They've just managed to get the props back from whoever bought them at auction. But this is it. I mean, the special. We are now getting into that season. We usually talk about it on the show. Not been so much to cover this time on the podcast, so we may as well talk about it here. Yeah, here we are with this big funky poster and graphic. But there was a time, guys. I mean, most of you know me well enough. I'm a graphics guy. This is my kind of thing. Usually, just an image like this. And I'll be honest, even the first few of this era, they still sort of pushed my buttons. I thought the visual it looked quite arresting, but this absolutely nothing at all. Obviously, we'd seen the Daleks before. It's no revelation. And if you remember, a little while ago, Ian, we had a couple of these pictures, didn't we? We had this picture dropped out. They've said this special was shot over a year ago, and they've shown us, quite understandably, very, very little. We got this teaser picture in September, and everybody was a little bit bored by it, weren't they? People thought, oh, if they're not excited about this, how can I be? But the good news is they don't just sit down. We've had a brand new picture. They stand up too. That's a lot more exciting, isn't it, everybody? Let us know how excited you are.
And Ryan looks thrilled, doesn't he?
Can I, guys? I haven't seen the trailer, but can I guess what happens in it?
You haven't seen? Yes, go on. Over to you,
Can I guess
Ian.
what happens in it? Right. So, what I think happens in the trailer is that a male character gets told off by a female character. Right.
Yes.
There's loads of Daleks in it. What else could I say about it? There's loads of Yaz in it.
Yeah,
right?
There is.
There's hardly any Doctor in it. What else could I say about it? That's all. That's my guess for the trailer. I haven't seen it.
About the trailer.
What's that?
That is about the trailer. That's it, pretty much.
So how many did I get right there?
Oh,
Everyone.
Oh, really?
Everyone. Ding,
Who
ding,
who gets told off though? Who gets told off? Is it Ryan?
Who do you think? Who's the white middle-aged man in the cast, Ian?
Bradley. Bradley gets told off.
No.
Well, the guest star.
Oh, Captain Jack gets told off.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
That's brilliant.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how predictable it is, isn't it?
Let's start with Jack. I mean, Doctor Who fans, I'll speak for myself. I love Captain Jack. I love John Barrowman.
He looks old.
And this picture, Ian, don't be a bitch. I think he looks fantastic. I mean, how old is John Barrowman now? 55?
64.
110.
110 years of age.
JD's not even looking at the screen. JD's
I'm just not interested at all. It just makes me laugh that they've had to go to Barrowman to try and save this travesty of an era. I mean, come on.
I think that isn't too harsh either. I think when you see the trailer, and I won't make you watch it, JT. Of course I won't.
Thank you.
The trailer is very Jack heavy, and you could say, oh well, the Doctor is in prison. You know, they're holding her back. That I don't think that's it at all. I think they know that she is absolutely poisonous. There is nothing that mainstream audience want to see less than her face, that performance.
It's also too late. They are really, again, my opinion, but they are really overrating the popularity of Barrowman in the United Kingdom.
Yeah,
they really, really are. He's had his day. Jack has had his day.
Yes,
close the door, move on, but they can't. And it just makes me laugh. Here's a great big white guy who's one of the age group they told to bugger off, coming to save the show. Oh, come on! I'm sorry. I'm not interested. In fact, I'm not sorry. I'm not interested.
Simon, you're probably the odd one out here. You've never been a big Jack fan, have you? But is JT? Is JT right? But taking a step back, is JT right with a lot of that?
Yeah, he's absolutely spot on. It was obvious to me as I was watching the trailer that they've basically sidelined the Doctor because the Doctor is unpopular. I can't even bring myself to say she is unpopular. Sorry, the Doctor is unpopular. And so they brought an old character back from the most popular new era of the series, which was the Tennant era. Okay, he came in Eccleston, I know, but he was big in the Tennant era as well. And so that's what they've done. They've brought Captain Jack back to replace the Doctor. And it's clear from the trailer that the Doctor is going to spend most of the episode in prison not doing much, and Captain Jack's going to do all the heroic stuff that the Doctor would have done. So it just proves that they've got all the chemistry wrong. And unfortunately, and can I just finish? And unfortunately, no, I absolutely hate Captain Jack. He is wrong for this era of the show. It's obvious that he's been shoehorned in. I don't like the character. I don't like the actor. And so, I get people that do. I understand that. So I'm pleased for them. But for me personally, this is literally my interest level went from bottom to literally out the floor. Yeah. So no, I couldn't be less excited by the series, and I won't be watching the special, so it's fine. I'm cool.
I reckon it'd be driven by Yaz.
It's very interesting that they've.
Yes,
it's very.
I was going to say, I bet she gets a lion's share of action and heroic things. I don't think Captain Jack does at all.
It's very interesting that they've gone down the same route as they have with the merchandise, however, and they are not showing the so-called current incumbent on this thing, and they have moved that along. You know, I mean, this is all about. I mean, they're trying to bring fans back. We're going to see that coming up in stuff that they're doing in the next. It's too late, and really, Barrowman. I can't see Barrowman being able to save this particular episode.
The absence of Whittaker and the 13th Doctor from everything surrounding the show, and particularly this trailer. I mean, to be fair, okay, she's front and center for that poster, but everything else. And bear in mind that trailer, if I know BBC One, I haven't got a TV license anymore, so I don't watch BBC One. But if I know BBC One, that trailer will be on multiple times per day. That's not aimed at us. That's aimed at the mainstream.
That's desperation. Desperation.
The fact that it's put together in the way it is, which we're going to come to in a moment, my view is this trailer, which is a pretty short trailer, is effectively Chris Chibnall yet again giving people a greatest hits package. I said the same to Charlotte yesterday. It's the greatest hits. This is the stuff that you liked before. Remember when Doctor Who was good? Remember how much you loved Doctor Who? Remember it had that American guy in it, the good-looking bloke who's been on Dancing on Ice? He's in all that. It's all pushing those buttons. So Sarah, bear in mind that this is your era of Doctor Who. How do you feel about seeing Jack in the coat, saying the lines, and Barrowman being there again? Does it give you chills, or has it even left you cold?
No, I don't care one bit. In fact, I feel really sad for him, because I know how long he's been trying to get Torchwood back and bring the character back. Yeah. And if there was any era other than this, but no, when we saw him in Fugitive of the Judoon, it was awful. It was overacting. It was hyperactive. It was clear as shoehorned in, and it completely turned me off. And I adored John Barrowman.
I know you do.
But no, I don't care anymore. He's got no right after completely giving us the middle finger with us at the timeless children to know, come back, we've got Jack and we've got Daleks. I'm sorry, screw you, Chibnall.
But the thing is, though, even if they did bring Jack back, right, what they have to do is correct what they've destroyed. You see that, and they're not doing that. What they're doing is they're continuing to destroy what we love about Doctor Who and putting this agenda right across this show. And that's why none of us who are true fans could go back to that show anymore.
And everybody's seeing through it, including Daniel Leach here. Sheer desperation. It's not fooling anybody, and I don't think it will fool. I don't think it will fool the mainstream audience either. I think there was a time when it would have done. But I think so much damage has been done.
I think that ship has sailed. You know, listen. Even if it kept the constant rate of decline that it had from season 12, and it didn't, it increased a lot. But just going by its normal, if it's going by the same rate of decline, which is about a 35% drop in viewing figures, it's down to get 3.9. Ish, if it's lucky, and that's consolidated. I think we could see it going under 3. TV audiences are really down. This is against Emmerdale and Coronation Street.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say at this point that it was the Rabbi from Another Planet. It was your channel, wasn't it, Svi? You broke the news about 4 or 5 days ago, long before they revealed the actual slot. You called it. You called it as New Year's Day, and you called the exact time too. Just doing a little bit of detective work. So I mean. Was everybody surprised? I didn't expect it to be on Christmas Day. This didn't take me by surprise at all. I think they would have had a better shot at a good figure on Christmas Day, but it being on New Year's Day, I think it just goes to show how much faith they've actually got in the show. And if you watch what the thing that I think I said this to somebody the other day, forget about what people say and look at what they actually do. Everybody's talking this up already. Chibnall is doing his usual thing. He's not that great at the publicity whole spiel, to be honest, but he's still doing it, and it's the best thing ever. It's a great big blockbuster for all the family. It's just what he said last year, the year before. Neither of them were. So he's saying it again, but what are they actually doing? They're tucking it away where they know it's going to get killed. Sorry, Ian, go and carry on.
I'm just saying, Dan, if the rumours are true, which is what we heard when we were on Gary's channel, that they're going to go back in time and take out all the old classic Doctors and replace it with the Council Estate Doctor and all that.
I don't believe that myself. And
if that happens, if that happens, then we are definitely the fandom is definitely going to explode. They're going to explode.
None of that is true. There's not much. The rumor, JT, if you haven't heard it.
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, so the answer with
make it easy. Go on.
What she is that when Hartnell was regenerating, or Dave Bradley was regenerating, they're going to go back to then, and he's going to need her help to regenerate, and she's going to help, and she's going to create an alternate timeline where she regenerates into the Dr. Ruth, right? So there's no Trout anymore. And then Pertwee's gone, and Tom Baker is created.
No, you see, what? That is just pure fan wank. Because
but let's just stop right there, because we don't know. We can't talk about it. We don't know if it's going to happen.
It's just pure rumor. Why would they do that on a TV show? They've already alienated.
Why you think they wouldn't?
They've already alienated fandom. They've already alienated the British public. Their job now is to surely get that back without going through all this continuity. We are not fans.
Them. No,
JT,
down.
They don't care. Yeah, they don't care.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you, Ian. They don't care.
They don't care.
And I agree with you, Rabbi. They absolutely would do something again mad and off the wall and probably destructive. But do I believe it? But do I believe this rumor? And this is, I know the guy who's broken it. I know him really well. I think he's a great guy with his heart in the right place, and he's been told this in good faith. I think it's absolute bullshit. And I really, to the point where I don't want to discuss it. Because we went over this. We went over this on the Nerdrotic show the other night, and we covered it in great detail.
Absolutely.
I think it's absolute bullshit. I've got my own feelings about where they're going to go with this. I think they are going somewhere with it, and I'm happy to talk about that too. At a later, I'm pretty certain I know where they're going with it. It's along similar lines, but they're not going to overwrite the second, third, and fourth Doctors.
I hope not.
No way.
I hope not.
I think they're going to create an alternate timeline.
That's good for all of us, right?
If they do an alternate timeline and that Whittaker is an alternate Doctor in another universe, that's the easiest way to reboot this and get it back to where it needs to be. And that would be interesting. However,
where they're going with it.
However, what we've got to remember with what has happened in the last series is all the BBC and all the Chibnall production office has done there is basically bent the knee and said, we are terribly sorry that we have had 12 white male leads in this role. That's all it is. That's all it's down to. It's the biggest virtue signaling ever.
Where I agree with the general way that they're taking the show, but those aren't the steps that I think they're going to take to get there.
No, they won't. They'll build on what we've done.
It's way too overcomplicated. Yeah, that's my theory. And I think I've probably said this to you before, Rabbi. I might as well mention it now. In this series just gone, we've met the Fugitive Doctor. I am convinced that in Series 13, even though it's going to be only 8 episodes instead of 11, that we will meet another Doctor that we've never met before, probably a woman, and maybe even 2 extra Doctors. And I believe that now, during the time that Chris Chibnall's on the show, and I think I've said this on Type over 40 months ago, so before this rumor came to light, I believe that Chris Chibnall is going to keep adding Doctors throughout his entire time on the show, effectively, so that if, and this is a big fucking if he is still there on the 60th, he'll have ground there to bring all these Doctors that he's farted into existence together for some sort of celebration. He won't need all those annoying white men anymore. He'll show this restocked canon full of all these new Doctors, and all of them pre-Hartnell. I think they've established that this is pre-Hartnell.
None of this is not real Doctor Who. Relax. It's not real. I see how upset you're getting. It's not that it's not real. It's not real Doctor Who. It doesn't count.
And that is where, because there's no way the Fugitive Doctor is definitely pre-Hartnell. Any attempt to say otherwise is ridiculous. They've already told us pretty much. You don't have to be Columbo to work this out.
If they go ahead with any idea like you've had there, Dan, it's going to be a massive flop. I keep saying this. I keep saying this. In this country, in the United Kingdom, you have to present Doctor Who the way the British public remember it. And to bring in a whole load of people for any sort of anniversary episode or anything else is a huge mistake, because they'll just turn around and go, who the hell is that?
Because all of this, because JT, the entire thing, and I know you haven't been watching it, but and with good reason. You were right. You were so right. But the whole thing has been a 21 episode exercise in backslapping, in box ticking, in trying to please people, and to swap out demographic. To swap out the Doctor Who audience for that small demographic.
Which doesn't exist. And then
it does not exist now.
I think you're right, Rabbi. It doesn't actually exist. So they're chasing people that aren't even real. And the general shape that and this is where I think this rumor's come from, because I think it's coming from a place where generally where Chibnall wants to take the show is right. And whoever's passed that rumor along, I think it's got muddied along the way. And yet we are going to meet other Doctors. And that is how unremarkable the character
Maybe
of the
not
Doctor.
in 8 episodes now.
That's how. No, that of all the episodes that they will keep from the ones they've got to, they're weighing up whether to chop or not. Those will be the ones they keep. Believe me, this guy's got nothing. He's got nothing else in the tank. Nothing at all.
But do you remember when they were talking about them retconning, the origin of the Doctor, and nobody believed it, and everybody's like, "No, they'll never do that," and they did it.
Exactly.
Right? So I wouldn't put it past them doing that rumor. I wouldn't put it past them.
Right, he knows what he's talking about.
So,
No, I wouldn't look. What I'm saying actually isn't that different, and it is just as radical. And the end goal is the same. It's how he goes about doing it.
Listen, if what you said happens, I'm going to say I was right.
There's one way here.
Overwriting Troughton and Pertwee and Baker, that's a very decisive move, that is. That's a very distinctive, very nailed. But this way, the way that I'm talking about, they don't have to touch any of that.
No. If they do any more of this, though...
That makes sense.
Hold on, let JT speak. Go on, JT, go on.
I was just going to say, if they do any more of this nonsense, though, surely the small, and it is a small minority of fans, and we've actually had this on the Facebook page this week, where we've actually had Whittaker stroke Chibnall fans saying that the reason that they're watching this show is simply in order for it to get better, in case they miss something.
Yeah.
Well, I used to do that, JT. I was doing that up until, and Sarah, you and I were both the same. We carried on watching it in the hope that it was going to get better.
Same here.
And I can't even remember now. Was it season 12 that has just ended, or?
Yeah.
No idea.
Right, season 12. And that's me done. And I'm not watching the Christmas special, and I won't be watching season 13. I am absolutely done. I'm not watching any more new Doctor Who. And Sarah, you and I both came on with Dan, and we did the podcasts right the way through season 12. And I'm not doing them this time. I'm not watching any more Doctor Who.
Which was the episode that broke you? Which was the episode you said, I'm not doing this anymore?
Well, to be honest, right back at the beginning of Jodie Whittaker, but I stuck with it purely for the podcast. That was the only reason I carried on watching it, was purely to do the podcast. And I got to the end of it, and I said to Dan, I've done that. Was the long run. I've done that. I can't do it again. And so it was the Arachnin episode right back in the previous season.
An act of pure insanity. That's who they're bringing back.
Yeah, I know. That's the irony of it. They're bringing the same character back again. And they really annoyed the Americans with that character.
Let's set the scene a little bit here. Firstly, thank you, Vanessa. More podcasts will have to bend the knee. This will be one of the few left. I can guarantee you that. Anybody who's invested in the brand of Type 40, who likes to hear us talk about this show, who respects what we've got to say, and understands why we do what we do, I can promise you that 100% nailed on. Now, going back through the history of the show, the Type 40 I'm talking about now, it was in its early days when we were covering that first Jodie Whittaker series, and we were bringing on guests to talk about each episode, feeling our way with it all, really. And a lot of us were skirting around it. But there was the episode 4 of series 11, of course, was Arachnids in the UK. And that was the one, because I think the last time, and I don't want to talk about this now, so I don't want to start about this, but looking back, I think the last time that Doctor Who made any sort of cultural impact whatsoever and had any that felt relevant, had people talking for either good or bad reasons, largely was the episode Rosa, episode 3 of series 11. Not since, but from episode 4, that Arachnids in the UK, when that episode hit, as rightly as the rabbis said, that caused enormous offense. And that, because that week on the podcast, we'd got on 2 guys, David and Marty Huey, who some of you may know, great guys, a father and son, veteran podcasters, were my guests on the show. They'd watched that episode the night before, come on to talk about it cold. They were, and I don't know where their political allegiances lie, but as Americans, they were deeply offended by Arachnids in the UK, by what it had said about, I've told you about this before, haven't I, Sarah, how they felt that the show that they loved had targeted not just one particular political party, but their entire culture. and that I think
This
was a
episode did
massive
that.
blow. It really did. They got a character in. They got a character in, and I have to all praise to Starry-Eyed Girl. Sarah Graham came up with this nickname. It's so great. It stayed with me for 2 years. I'm going to say it now, but yes, and he is back. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that Chris Noth was back.
Really?
Was back as what was his name? Sarah, Mr. Big Trump. Yes, there he is. There's Chris Noth.
Back as Mr. Misfits as well. That guy was in Misfits.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I like him too. Also,
it was a great series. The first 4 years of Misfits, fabulous.
Daniel something or other. He's a good actor. Unfortunately, he's almost certain to be made a complete fool of in this.
Oh, that's Dame Harriet Thingy.
It is.
Yeah.
So, she must have been taking the money and running. Goodness me.
By the way, can I just make another prediction? As he's a black man, he's going to be emasculated in some way or other. He's going to be effeminate and have no real agency for himself. Dan, I'm going to have to go. I got my show starting in 40 minutes.
Thanks for dropping by, Rabbi. So don't miss
it. Before I go, can I give myself a shameless plug and show you the thumbnail? Can you throw it up?
Directly after this show, don't miss the Rabbi over on the Rabbi from Another Planet, digging in deep with all of this and all of them. I can't imagine what he's going to say. You never know with the Rabbi.
This was it. I just like he's selling the show to Captain Jack, saying everything's fine, nothing to worry about. And Toaster's like, let's just back away quietly, son. We're nearly out.
Well, they've gone now, haven't they? They saw the writing on the wall, and both of them went. They've gone. They went last year.
I'm coming around to that. I'm coming around to that too. But yeah, thanks for dropping in, Rabbi. And it's been a pleasure. Catch you soon, mate. Bye bye.
Dan, can I ask you a question? Okay, yes. So, you were saying that this rumor, you don't think that's going to happen at all, and stuff like that. That will never happen, but. No. We never thought that they would try and eliminate the First Doctor, which is what they effectively did in the last episode. No, none of us thought they were going to do that. Not even Gary Beekler. He got the rumor, but that's what they did, didn't they?
I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but Simon and I, we both heard that rumor around the same time, didn't we, Simon? Yeah. Which is a good 6 months before Gary broke the story.
Yeah.
And we sat on it. In fact, we didn't even talk about it to one another.
But did you believe it?
Yeah, I believe that Chibnall was capable of it. Yeah,
but you don't think he's capable of doing that rumor then?
No.
This way,
all right.
Nobody was surprised when it happened. Were they?
Well, I
was. I have to be honest.
I was more alarmed and startled. And I just had a little bit more faith that Chibnall loved the show as much as I did. It wasn't that he wouldn't do it narratively, but the difference with this and what people can't seem to understand is that they've already told us where the fugitive doctor fits in with this. They've already told us that, and before pre-Hartnell. It's nothing to do with being out after Troughton, and I don't understand why this keeps getting perpetrated. To me, they've already said, not clearly, but
it's easy to understand.
It's part of the plot.
Sorry, Dan. What I said before is true. They are now, and it is the production team under Chibnall. It is the BBC current people in there. They are apologising for the fact the Doctor has been 12 white men, 13 if you include Hurt.
Oh, yeah.
And now Chibnall's come along, bent the knee, and basically said, we're terribly embarrassed and they're terribly sorry that we've had 12 white men here. Oh, but guess what? We've just rebooted his entire origin to say that he was born a little black girl, and he's been several billion other United Colours of Benetton right up until William Hartnell. And it's as plain as day what they've done there, and it's just lazy nonsense. It really is, and it's typical of the BBC today.
The idea came into my head, I have to be honest, when during the Ghost Monument, when they talked about the timeless child. I knew that they weren't going to have the Doctor as being pregnant, and I could only think of one other thing that it could be, and so that's a potted version. I don't want to go down too many more rabbit holes. We've already done so many on this show. But yeah, I mean, going back to this, we've got Chris Noth there. The Rabbi's right about this guy, this poor fella from Misfits. You can just tell by the look on his face, the kind of what his role in this is going to be. We've got. Do you know
it's going to be very interesting from now on with the ratings known in the industry, with the writing style known in the industry, the backlash from the fan community coming through from the industry. Everything's going to be very interesting now because these actors, these extremely good, capable actors, two of which we can see in this picture now. Can't really speak about Mr. North because I don't really follow American television, but I'm aware of him, obviously. But, you know, they were hooked by the words Doctor Who, a massive show. And now, over the last couple of years, it's been destroyed. It's not huge. It's pulling in under 5 million, around about 4 million viewing figure. I think it's going to be very interesting to see the caliber of actor that they now get to work on this show.
Well, it's gone drastically downhill. I mean, on the last season, I can barely remember anybody who was in it. To be honest, I can barely remember any of the episodes, Sarah. But we've got somebody remind us here. Gary reminds us that Harriet Walter and Bradley Walsh co-starred in Law and Order UK, which was showrun by Chris Chibnall again.
Yeah, but based on an American series, more or less word for word. So he couldn't really piss it up the wall.
So we got those two actors in. You know, it's always it's good to see good people who want to be involved in the show, but you know, when the show is in this bad a state, isn't it quiet without the rabbi?
Have they announced any of the guest stars for this forthcoming set of 8 episodes?
I mean, they haven't announced anybody else yet.
I know there's a comedian in it, isn't there? There's a comedian there.
Dodd.
We've got you guys should lay money on a wager. You know, I'm not saying it's not impossible that what the guys are saying is true, but for me,
the reason I would bet on it not being true. I think they're quite likely to put extra doctors in before Han or whatever. Absolutely, well, they've already done it, so it's open season with that. The reason why I don't think they will sort of wipe out the existing doctors is simply because they're not stupid. You can't do that because they're shooting themselves in the foot with all the merchandise, with the Blu-rays, with various other stuff. You can't suddenly just say those doctors actually didn't exist. They were not. You can't. It would.
You know what, Simon? Do you know what, Simon? Right. You know, I love you like a brother, but
love you too.
I don't think you're right. I think they're on a dismission to actually, because they're as the rabbi says, they're embarrassed by 12 men playing the doctor. They're on a mission to eliminate that.
They are. That's true.
And I think that rumor, if that rumor happens, I would not be surprised at all.
No, I don't think anybody would be surprised by it. I do agree with Simon. I think it would be the final death. And I was trying to say before as well, for this small amount of people that are currently of fans watching it, because the public don't give a toss anymore. They're not watching it, I can assure you.
The problem.
But you know, the small amount of fans that are tuning in the hope that this era gets better, or they're just tuning in because they genuinely like Whittaker as the Doctor and they like Chibnall's way. But surely, if you are one of those fans, if they do anything to destroy the work, the commitment, the talent that those 12 original actors gave over all those years, surely you would tune out. Please tell me if you are a fan of this awful goddamned era, if they do anything to harm all the work from Hartnell to Capaldi, each one of those 12 actors who committed themselves fully and fleshed out their characters fully and went through hell fully. And if you've read any of the books, you'll know about all the things they had to go through, lots of them. But surely you wouldn't support that. Please tell me that common sense would win over woke.
I don't think so. I think they're well capable of destroying Doctor Who. Seriously.
But they've already destroyed it. It's hanging on by a thread. That would be actually throwing the soil on the coffin.
That's what I'm saying. I think that is what they're going to do. Personally, I think that's what they're going to do. But Dan's probably right, because Dan knows more than me. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think we can get to the point where we are jumping at shadows and passing off.
We're just guessing. That's all. We're just guessing.
Doctor Who used to be the antidote to cynicism. Yes. It's not me that said that. That's a quote from Charlie Brooker, who's very writer of I've always loved. And I think he's right about Doctor Who. I think it has always been an antidote to cynicism, and that is harder to observe as time goes on.
It really is. And
I think that you could get to a point where people can basically come up with any wild rumor, or what I believe what happened is that to find out half of something and make up the rest to present a full rumor, and then people quite understandably all their generosity and goodwill towards this era of the show is spent. This man has already done worse than people ever thought would be imaginable. So it's quite reasonable. It's quite reasonable. Well, this is it. And it's quite reasonable that people would be in that place that you're at, Ian, where you would believe absolutely you want to be braced for the very, 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 very worst.
Yeah.
But I think we're also at a place where we could begin to pass off that cynicism. And that's what it is. It's cynicism. As wisdom.
It's also based on,
and it's a very fine line between those two things.
Yeah, but Dan, it's also based on other stuff as well. Like, for instance, remember when this new?
I don't think it is. It is just based. No, Ian, I think it sincerely is just based on.
No. Hold on.
Any other factor?
Let me explain. Right. So remember when what's the new guy that's taken over the BBC? Tim Divvy. We were all
been over
hopeful.
This as well.
Yeah, I know, but we were all hopeful that he would change things, but he hasn't changed anything really. Let's face it.
Yeah. So the brilliant thing about what you said there about Charlie Brooker, though, Dan, and that was lovely. That was well put there. Lovely bit of monologue there for using that, but that was lovely. But from what Charlie Brooker said there is absolutely it was. But for our viewers that are looking in on us from out of the UK, it's heartbreaking as fans when a lot of debate is going on right now about the state of the British Broadcasting Corporation. We are losing at least, the estimate is 500 people a day, 5 days a week, are calling to cancel their BBC television license if they can get through on an unstaffed line. So that's happening there. So there's a lot of people cancelling their license this year.
They're all off with a beer bug, JT.
Absolutely. But also because of the furlough and everything. But also there's the other case now. Doctor Who today, right now, is held up by a lot of media that is not shill as the perfect example of how the BBC is going wrong. And that's embarrassing. Everything I look at, whether it be newspaper content from certain newspapers who are not shill and are certainly not extreme left wing, or YouTube channels. We've got talk radio. We've got lots of debate shows. There's a hell of a lot. Every time they talk about the BBC and its woke agenda, Doctor Who creeps up, and it's heartbreaking. It really, really is, because it could have been and it should have been avoided.
It's become a byline for failure and embarrassment.
It's embarrassing.
In a way that it hasn't been for a long time.
To call yourself a Doctor Who fan now is embarrassing.
It's exactly, Sarah, right now.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's where we were.
It's always been cool when I'm like...
Sarah, this is how it was in the 80s.
Poor starry-eyed girl. This is a completely new experience for you, isn't it? It's I mean, we all remember. I was at school at the time. It was like being
never admitted at school. You would never admit to being a Doctor Who fan at school.
It was like being in the trenches. Let's go back to the chat for a few minutes. Problem Being says,
hello, Problem Being.
Hello, mate. Good to see you. And do what he says, please. He's absolutely right.
Is that a euphemism?
Subscribe to the channel. Always on this channel. And Vanessa says, Simon and I are in concert on this one. I'm trying as hard as I can to pretend this era does not exist as
we all are.
Doctor Who. Chris Persia, hi Chris. I saw you earlier on, but I didn't get a chance to say hello. We have seen that plenty of Jodie supporters have turned away after the Timeless Children. We have indeed.
Hello, Chris.
I don't believe that Chibnall has any support.
No, I think Chris is right. There were quite a lot, but by God, if you look at the Type 40 Facebook page and sign up to that and start, you'll see that there's still some of them, and the ones that I see on various groups on Facebook, and especially the BBC's own, and of course they have now, because they've taken on this independent company, they are deleting serious comments. They are censoring it, which is disgraceful in the 21st century.
I believe that is linked to the fact that the social media account, the official social media accounts for Doctor Who, for the IP, have changed hands. They're not managed by BBC anymore.
They are now managed by an independent company, and as far as I've heard, it is the only social media account on the BBC that is now held out of the BBC. They have paid money for somebody to do that.
Somebody else to manage it. We have a Problem Being chips in. I was openly a Doctor Who fan at school in the 80s and got beaten up for it. Oh, mate.
Oh, bless you.
I kept open about it and took the beatings and went to a school of fate dressed as the Seventh Doctor in defiance.
Good for you. But you know what? They all had egg on their faces in 2005 when the show came back and was a hit for those few short years when it was massive, and everybody in the Britain was watching.
The thing,
one of
the things that I'm sort of so traumatized as well about today is I don't know whether you're aware that there's a Radio Times interview that was published yesterday with Jodie. In which she says she has no intention, I'm reading it out from it at the moment, she has no intention whatsoever of giving up the role. I'll read this to you just briefly, the first little bit. Jodie Whittaker has revealed she has no plans to enter Doctor Who tenure anytime soon, claiming she hasn't even looked at another role since she started playing the role. Whittaker said to The Telegraph she's looking forward to playing the Time Lord for the foreseeable future. And this is a quote from her: "To even question an endpoint of Doctor Who would be too upsetting," before explaining how her expectations of the part had already been surpassed.
Let's put this into context, because we've seen that we have seen this. We have seen this. I reckon that would have been done during lockdown, on an interview during lockdown. It will certainly not. I mean, she is protected. She's not being told the full story.
JT, it may even have been an interview that she did whilst filming this.
Absolutely, we don't know that
a year ago.
Could have been.
But, because all the other interviews doing the rounds this week in Radio Times and various other places, they are, for example, with 2 members of the cast who are about to depart, they are talking to them on set. So I believe that you're right, that this interview is technically kind of archive material.
It is. It really is. And I think this is where it gets very, very interesting now. The next episode, I will never use the word special. The next episode, the ratings on that will be extremely important for them, because they're currently filming this next set of episodes. That will be very indicative of where they're going to go. And also, I think, she's not getting any work, bless her.
Can I just, I'm just going to qualify all of this, because while we've been chatting, I have looked it up. In fact, this interview was done at 3:30 p.m. on a rainy Wednesday, when Jodie had just got back from a negative COVID result, which meant that she could go on to film the new series. So to be honest, folks, this is a recent interview.
But in hiatus anyway. So before she started the work, so it's a few weeks back.
I just want to point out that, because what Problem Being says here, said this, Peter Capaldi said the same thing, and he was gone the next year. And that is true. And I would also like to harken back and repeat myself what I said earlier on. Don't get too fixated on what people say. Look at what they do.
The other thing you've got to remember, Dan, the reason Capaldi went, really, I think, is to get rid of the white male actor and bring in So unfortunately, that theory doesn't work with Whittaker. The BBC are not going to want to get rid of Whittaker, because
it depends. It depends on what tick box they're going to go for next. Will they want a black male? Will they want a Chinese male? Will they want a Chinese woman? Will they want whatever? It
but
really
it's been
does
proven that
depend.
that's not what it's about. That word woke is associated with what you just said just now, and it's obvious BBC's not playing that card. BBC's playing the feminine agenda card.
No, they're playing all the cards.
No, they're not. And
yes,
the doctor would be a black guy.
No.
The doctor is not a black guy. It's a woman.
I disagree. That's one of the big. I mean, the BBC are very good at hiring women, and there's a track record that you can plainly see now. When a male steps down in any element of the BBC, a woman will be replacing him. That's, I won 50 quid on a bet recently over who was taking over from Graham Norton. It was so obvious that a woman was going to take over. Ka-ching, thank you very much. I'm quids in. But there's other issues there. If you look at their very, very questionable diversity and inclusion policies, if you are a young, and I hate the term, BAME filmmaker, you can get a grant from the BBC to get started. However, if you are not in that category, you can't. They brought in, I don't know the lady's name, I do apologize. They brought in a black female actress to play a pre-Hartnell doctor.
Black males, JT, black males. Woke. Look, when they started off, right, BBC, they were talking about they're going to encourage black people to be in front of the camera and behind the camera, right? They have not done that. Suddenly that word got changed to the female agenda. It's all about the female agenda the BBC's pushing.
I think it's about all of them. I think they're pushing all of
them.
It's
not. Look closely. Okay, right. Let me ask you one question, Daty. Let me ask you one question. Has there been a TV show that BBC made recently with a black lead?
Yes,
I can tell you because I don't watch the BBC.
Seriously, there's loads. I'm afraid I agree with JT on this one.
Like
BBC,
what? Tell me one. Tell me one.
The BBC, I can't tell you simply because I don't watch them.
But that's what I'm saying. There isn't.
No,
that's
there is. There is.
There isn't. Well, still, tell me one.
I mean, I know that Luke.
Well, Doctor Who has had a young black gentleman.
If I may interrupt, Luther may have been running for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yes, that was ages ago. Just the one. There is no other show. There is no other show with a black lead.
Obviously, I haven't got a TV license anymore, so I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying.
We can't really comment on the BBC because we don't know it.
Talking about one of our black leads, because we are running out of time. There's a couple of things I want to cover. We are losing this guy from the cast this year. And we've got a quote here from Tosin Cole, asked about departing the show. I think he's about 26, 27-year-old actor said, emotional. I was looking forward to having a rest, though. He's on a terrible schedule, this Tosin, by the sound of it. It's been an honour to work on a cultural institution with fans across the world. So at least the last bit's kind of sincere. And truly, I think that Tosin Cole's been done a great disservice by his time on Doctor Who. I don't think he's the next Anthony Hopkins, but he deserved better than the material that he was given. And he's got a new show which he's already filming now. And personally, I wish him every luck in the world.
He's in America, is he not, Dan?
Yeah.
He's in America working.
Well, good for him. Good for him, because he's one of the few people from this era that's made it in America. Well done, Mr. Cole. I don't know you. I don't know your character. I'll probably never meet you, but well done.
He seems to be doing okay. It's HBO, isn't it, Sarah?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
HBO. Oh, well, very good. Very good.
And we have a quote here from Bradley Walsh too. This is slightly less impressive. It is very, very dramatic. It is very, very sad. It is quite sad, and poignant is the word. You can expect a lot of poignancy from the episode.
What does that mean, Bradley?
Bradley,
we love you, but we knew you ran. We knew you ran. You saw the writing on the wall, and you went away. Good for you.
Could get out of Bradley Walsh. I think people were expecting something a little more warm from him.
I do feel sad because he was basically the best thing in it.
He was the best thing about it.
He's a big fan of he was around for the Hartnell and the Troughton period.
Yeah. Sarah, did you know that? Do you know the chase that he does on the ITV network? The chase. Do you know that a couple of the chasers there are massive Doctor Who fans?
Yeah.
I'm not remotely surprised. There's a massive crossover.
There are 2 particular chasers on there that are massive Doctor Who fans, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just said, "What the hell are you doing in that shit?"
But did you see that episode where one of the
contestants?
Yeah, the contestant. Yeah,
I did saw that one.
I saw that on YouTube. I thought it was hilarious. But so true, and whoever he is, we like him.
We've one more thing to go. This has got so awry from what I planned, but we have got one thing I'd like to cover because it's on the bloody artwork. So yeah, we are talking Sontarans. There we are.
Hey,
I love the Sontarans. I've always loved the Sontarans. You know, there it is, the Time Warrior back in '73 with Kevin Lindsay. An amazing character, superb performance, and the people who have played them since have largely done a pretty good job, I think. You know, Christopher Ryan, Dan Starkey, all those people. I even love the Sontarans in the 2 Doctors, even though they are very, very tall, aren't they?
Too tall.
I only have to see this picture, and I'm reminded of a particular. You know, I love this story anyway, and the simplicity of these villains. So you know, let's put aside the fact that we know that present Doctor Who is a massive shit show. Let's put the geek hat. I
love his mouth. On. You can see his mouth in the mask. I love that. I just love that about
wonderful. Well, they made that a
Mr. Friedlander.
A plus, didn't they, Simon? Yeah. Because they did that during the show. So they made it a spooky kind of uncanny quality about it.
Yeah.
About the original design, Simon.
Absolutely, and I mean, the Sontarans are my all-time favourite Doctor Who monster, way before Daleks and Cybermen. Firstly, because they were the first monster actually that I saw. I saw them before Daleks and Cybermen exactly this story in the Time Warrior, because obviously Cybermen didn't turn up until the year after in Revenge of the Cybermen. Death to the Daleks came along in this series, in this particular season, but obviously after the Time Warrior. So I just love the Sontarans. I can still remember the episode ending of episode 1 when that helmet first comes off. Freaked me as a 6-year-old. So they've always been my all-time favourite monster.
We used to call them potato heads when I was a kid.
Right. In the modern series, I actually don't feel they've ever got the Sontarans right. To be honest,
no, not quite right. Well, that's a lovely story, Simon. I love it. I love hearing stories like that. About I didn't realise the Sontarans were your first monster. That's
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. If you've come to it in the new era, Sarah, I'd imagine these were the first Sontarans that you ever saw, weren't they?
Yes.
So how do you feel about the Sontarans generally?
I do like the Sontarans, but I prefer the classic Sontarans because they're
really
too comedy.
that was the whole point. That Mr. Moffat again. Oh, please! What he did to that Sontaran character? Why?
I think it was
never explained either, was it? It was never explained.
Oh, they did explain it, but I think they just laboured it too much, and they sort of broke down the character and relegated him to comic relief really quite quickly.
And that's the mistake. The Sontarans are warmongering clones.
Well, they made the mistake, and because of that, the character initially worked. But I think it was when because if Stephen Moffat's got a fault, it's that he does have a habit of telling the same jokes over and over again. And I think that he went to the well too many times on Strax. And I don't think it ruined the Sontarans at all. It didn't ruin them for me.
Well, put it this way.
I can see why they've been away for a long time.
If you were a new fan that came in and hadn't seen the Tennant episodes, you were only seeing Strax as a representation of the Sontaran Empire, not a good role model for a warmongering, bloodthirsty race.
And of course, we've seen other Sontarans in the past, haven't we? And there's various things. They turn up on Big Finish. They've turned up in independent fan-made dramas there, such as Shakedown. I don't know if anybody remembers Shakedown from the mid-90s. That was a good laugh. At least something different was tried there.
When I was a kid, we used to call them potato heads because we couldn't remember.
We all did,
names.
I think.
Yeah, we couldn't remember their names.
When my son was around 3 or 4, this was just before Doctor Who came back. We'd been watching a lot of classic Doctor Who. He used to call him Potato Man as well. Yeah. But yes, the Sontarans, the word has got out. The Sontarans, the Sontarans are back for Series 13.
They're the perfect toxic male, aren't they?
They really are, actually, aren't they? Yeah, because they'll slice your head off before they talk to you.
Yeah, but hold on, because it's far more complicated than that.
Here we are. So, I mean, obviously last year we got Chris Chibnall's take on the Cybermen, which was largely pretty awful, but I think as a production design thing, they looked the business. They looked fantastic. They looked the best the Cybermen had looked in a very, very long time. And personally, I'll save this for another time now, but I'm not 100% against the new Dalek design. I think I've seen a lot. I think I've seen a lot worse. So as regards the production design on present Doctor Who, I don't necessarily think they're doing that bad a job. But yeah, we have got the new Sontaran. They were seen on location in Wales last week. Some street level photography here. Brace yourself, somebody please pass Simon a warm drink.
Yeah, I've already seen
and a blanket because here they are. This is the new Sontaran. We've got a few of them huddled on the street there, and one up close there with it looks like a leaf blower in hand. I would imagine it's meant to be a weapon of some sort. So yes, Noel Glynn on the TARDIS Zone broke this story around 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe longer. But the Sontarans were back, and he was absolutely right. Of course he was. And here they are.
Something's wrong.
Well, the costume is all wrong for a start off. It looks like Shakedown.
It does look. Yes, it does look like Shakedown. Yes.
Sontarans. It's just yet again, as is always the case with new Doctor Who, it's over-designed. The point of the original Sontarans, the reason they work so well, is because they are just so simplistic. They're not all fussy. There aren't little bits sticking out everywhere. These, yet again, it's just over-designed. It's too much. You don't need all that rubbish. You just need a good costume.
I agree.
anything alone.
Is that cricket pads they've got on their legs there?
In effect, it's kind of cricket pads, yeah. But
I
it still
suppose
gets
he's
worse
going-
than that. It gets worse than that. Because
I suppose he's going for some sort of medieval armor look, doesn't he?
I
Does
think
look that
so.
way.
I think
Very odd.
Vanessa
They look
here
that
says,
way.
shockingly, I prefer the original Sontarans as well. However, I don't mind the new ones. I think she means the Russell T Davies ones.
Russell
But
T
yeah,
ones.
I think that they are trying here, just
They're
like
better.
the Cybermen, to
Four of
come
them.
to come back to what the Sontarans' original
They are
idea
better.
was.
yeah,
And the original appeal of the characters. So again, we know by now, we've seen plenty of these shots, street level from Wales. We know there's no, up close. They never look as good when you
The
see
shoes
these
are wrong.
costumes. out
yeah.
and
I'll tell
about.
you, you'll work out why the shoes are wrong in a minute, JT. Sorry, Dan.
And
Will I?
yeah,
Oh.
well, I think you're right, and obviously these little things, you don't know whether there's going to be any degree of CGI added afterwards. I really sincerely don't know, but I like the fact that they've gone more metallic with it, and it all looks very matte and very functional. But we have got there's the comparison between that's the Sontaran experiment and the new one. So
It's better.
It's not
It is
a million
better.
miles away. Yeah,
It's much better than the blue ones of the Moffat era.
Yeah.
But there's a terrible, terrible twist in all this coming.
It will
Yeah,
depend,
because-
of course, on the story that
Well,
they
hold
put
on,
together
JT.
for them.
There is a terrible twist.
Terrible twist.
What's the twist?
Because although you can't see it very, very well from this angle, the chest plate there is sort of arranged in a very particular way.
Oh, you're not going
I'm not kidding you.
You're
You've
not
worked
going to
out.
tell me. They're
I'm afraid I
not
am.
female
Hang on. Let's get the right picture. Let me get the right picture.
Have they
Yes,
confirmed that these are female
Well, no,
Sontarans?
there we
they're
go.
they're all played by women.
Oh, for God's
So
sake.
we know that this is true. They're all played by women.
And that's why
Wow.
the shoes look wrong. Because they've got small feet.
Hang on a minute. That's no disrespect at all. That is going to change the Sontar. I mean, women walk a
course
different
it is.
way. These
JT,
Sontarans are
JT,
males.
I don't know whether I don't know, Dan, whether you've got
Time.
the clip that literally reduced me to tears. Have you got that?
I haven't. There is a video. There was
Jesus.
obviously because this was on the streets of Wales, and yes, they were seen chasing the comedian John Bishop. So he's set to be the guest star in that episode. There is a video out there,
Wow.
Yeah, John Bishop.
video footage of these Sontarans giving chase.
And I swear it was the funniest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Because at this point, I didn't know that they were all played by women. And so this clip, it's only brief, but Dan's quite right. It's just this clip of the Sontarans chasing after John Bishop. And the run that these Sontarans do as they dash, it is the campest run you have ever seen. And somebody did actually comment and say it just needs Benny Hill music on it, and it does. And then I discovered, okay, they're played by women. Now look, okay, I know everybody's going to now say I'm being misogynistic. I'm not. I'm just saying women run differently to how men
Of course
run.
they do.
Yeah.
Women and men are different in their frames, in
And
all
the whole
sorts
point-
of things.
And the whole point of Sontarans is that they used to show up that the warmongering way men are, not in a good light. The whole point was it was pointing out the fact that men are warmongering and shouldn't be. And so to now turn the Sontarans into women, even if they're male characters played by women, but I'm assuming they're female Sontarans, it's just defeating the whole point. The irony of Sontarans originally was that they're warmongering, which is bad. And
do you know what?
and
This actually proves the point we were talking on about before. That is the last, surely, for you Whittaker Chibnall fans, surely that must be the last straw to watch this diabolical nonsense, because the Sontarans are a warlike cloned race. They're supposed to look the same. They're all from the original same test tube. You can't just say, I bet he's going to say to them, oh look, actually they were always hidden in the kitchen. I mean, it's just nonsense. What is he doing? Get him off the show.
I couldn't agree more. Let's look at John Steed's comment for a moment here, because I think this is quite important. I think that when they remove their helmets, they will all look individual of different sexes. Now, I don't necessarily think that that's true, but I think that when they remove their helmets, obviously there will be a prosthetic underneath there. There will be a mask. There will be a redesign of the head sculpt. I think
Absolute nonsense.
I think that is true. So for all we know, they may all look the same or similar enough the way that Christopher Ryan and Dan Starkey did. But that being said, we know that people who perform these characters, as you quite rightly said, Simon, and you've just really highlighted too, JT, is that the Sontaran isn't just a facial performance; it's a body language performance too.
Yeah,
and
yes, absolutely.
If they're displaying female body language too, then yes, Chibnall is realigning these characters, rewriting Doctor Who mythology.
Just for change.
Yeah, yes. Again, who'd have thought it? So yeah, I look forward to seeing, because I'm quite into the armor. I think that's okay. But when I saw that, I thought there was something quite different. Obviously, the chest plate, the fact that they've even got breasts.
Unbelievable.
So some have got breasts and some haven't.
Do you know last week, guys, I told you I didn't drink. I'm just starting. I'm glad you can't see me. I have to apologise. I'm having technical issues here, so you can't see me. And I'm glad, because I've suddenly got, where's this whiskey bottle materialised from? I'm going to start drinking. Chibnall, I'm going to get drunk, and it's your fault.
My God.
So whilst we have got what I believe, I quite like this design generally. We have got this, as you said, this sting in the tail, Simon, and a bit of an insult. Now, it would be unfair of me to not point out as well the remainder of the rumour that was floated out about this. And this was long before we got these pictures. The same source that said the Sontarans were back also specifically said that this story and the Sontarans as presented in this script would go to great lengths to make it clear that Sontarans are what's known as non-binary now in our language, and gender neutral.
What the hell is non-binary?
I'm still not entirely sure.
Explain how a clone can be non-binary. This is just utter. Oh, I'm so angry right now.
Well,
give me a whole show. I'll kick off.
Get that drink out, mate. Get that drink out.
Simon, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I suppose actually, when you think about it logically, yeah, if they are a clone species, which the Sontarans, as JT points out, they are a clone species, then theoretically they're not produced through sexual reproduction. They are cloned, and so as a result, they are non-binary. They are non-binary. Well, actually, no, that's not true. They're not non-binary. They're asexual. They have no sex. They are neither man nor woman. They are Sontarans. That's it. But the point being that Sontarans are the most warlike, aggressive species out there. And I'm sorry, you can't have them literally running along. You have to, trust me, go and find this clip. It is the most hysterical clip.
I don't think I want to, mate.
They're bobbing along.
I'll try and get hold of it.
Looks wrong. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry.
It's just, and that's what I mean, Ian, about tick boxing, because that's the whole thing that's going on. But to a Sontaran does not have a gender or a sexual preference. It's a bloody machine that kills things.
This is why I say that the feminine agenda is running through the
Do you know when they brought them back, when they brought the Sontarans back for the Poison Sky?
If they can't even return a villain with such a simple principle as the Sontarans without fucking around with it like this, then you are right. Then you are completely right.
There was a beautiful line when they brought the Sontarans back for the Poison Sky with the wonderful Catherine Tate. I do love Donna. I have to mention Catherine Tate whenever I can. Yeah, but on those episodes, there was a wonderful line they deliberately gave to the Sontaran, which was basically along the lines of the greatest war in history, i.e. the Time War, and we weren't allowed to be part of it. That captured the entire Sontaran race for a brand new generation who may never, ever have seen them. And now they go and do this. Why are you watching this nonsense? Just switch it off.
The thing that I find so frustrating with all of this is, why is it, and Ian, you are totally correct. I agree with you that the BBC has just got this new female-centric agenda. And what I can't understand is why people are happy with basically recasting male roles as females. In other words, we're kind of, but the point for me with that is because, in effect, we're sort of saying we are justifying that women need to play parts that were originally played by men because they're not suitable enough to have their own roles. So we've got to just and that's completely wrong. We should be creating new roles for women to play.
Don't forget though, guys.
Hold on, JT. Create a new race of aliens that's played purely by women. Brilliant. Go for that. Why are people happy? Why do what Sarah?
Because,
Sarah, would you be happy with the idea that okay, women have just got to now repurpose all the male roles and go to women, or would you rather have roles created for women?
Yeah. Well, I'm from the 80s and 90s, so I grew up with Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley.
Absolutely. Strong female role.
It's insulting, and they're doing it with everything, you know.
But this is the reason why. This is the reason why I'm saying that. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, but this is the reason why I'm saying. Yeah. Sorry, have you finished, Sarah? Sorry.
You have done it. Yeah, wait.
Right.
Do not want
can't hear anybody.
It's just insulting.
It is insulting. You're right.
But this is why I'm saying that this is the feminine agenda going through the whole of the BBC.
Let's go back where that feminine agenda has come from. And I'm going to be very realistic now. And it's a subject we don't like to talk about, but unfortunately, it's there. Since Savile, this has all come into the BBC since the Savile scandal. Every single element has started there. And then this whole backlash against males when they were being hired behind the scenes in the BBC. And now it's developed into screen and all this thing there. It's come since then. And this is where this backlash, in my opinion, has come from against white males in particular.
It has in Britain. In America, it's obviously with the Harvey Weinstein and the...
Oh, definitely. The Me Too movement. Yeah, that went far too far.
Well,
I mean,
you could argue that the whole Savile thing, I can't even stand saying that man's name.
No, we're all the same.
You know what I mean? It's sort of, oh God. But the whole Savile thing actually led to Harvey Weinstein in an indirect way, because that caused a massive ripple through the industry.
Yeah, but it was the same here, and the BBC felt that. And if you go and look at the timeline, the BBC backtracked to get itself out of it very quickly. They started to play the game.
But also, I think it's more than the Savile thing. I think the final catalyst, okay, maybe it started with Savile. The catalyst was 2 or 3 years ago when it was revealed how much more men were earning in the BBC
that
than
contributed
women.
As well. Absolutely, that did contribute.
That was the final nail in the coffin. And that's why the BBC are now going berserk, and as Ian quite rightly points out, recasting every role, every presenter, every radio DJ as a female. And it's
look at Eamon Holmes. Look at Eamon Holmes. Eamon Holmes got replaced by a big fat. I can't remember her name is, but she's
that's
quite
ITV
big.
though as well. So
I'm just saying it's going right through.
Yes,
right through now. Yes.
It's show business. Yeah. Listen, kids, if you're trying to get into show business, other kids, please go and get a decent, hardworking job. Do not go into showbiz. Most of us have flirted with show business. It's poison. Even more so today. Please do yourself a favor, get a proper job.
but I do feel it's really, really important to point out at this stage, because I know yes, thank you, Chris. You're absolutely right there. I know the accusations that will come through as a result of what we're talking about here. I just want to be really clear. I am not being misogynistic. Some of my favourite films, Halloween, Alien, as you've just mentioned, Sarah, have strong female roles. I want strong female roles out there. What I don't want is strong male roles just basically replacing with females playing them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women.
Listen, that whole misogyny and sexist argument, for anybody that dares try to bring it up, get over yourselves. Exactly. I suffered from that all the time in 2017 when that announcement in June happened. And I was one of the first going, they're going to regret this. Why change? This is a sexist move because, you're getting rid of a few. Why are you doing this? Blah, blah. All the usual stuff we've been through here now. If somebody's about to go down that route again, it's a tired argument and it holds no water. Get a new argument.
Me a sexist because I've made 2 feature films with lead female leads in it. And that was over 10 years ago. So
very good they are too. You know what I say, everybody? Bring back the drive-ins.
Absolutely. The drive-ins were done.
Only one option left. We have to bring them back. I'm not sure what you do to them.
Chibnall might be watching. Let's make a plea. There's a race for you to bring back, love.
But listen, I would seriously have no problem bringing back the drive-ins. Brilliant. They were a female race. Bring back the drive-ins. But let's think about it the other way. Would they recast the drive-ins as men?
Male,
of course they wouldn't.
Do you know what? The drive-ins today could be a real menace.
They'd be brilliant.
They could be all through.
They
could be through the galaxy, couldn't they? With that attitude they had. My God, you could have a Servalan type character at the very top of the game, couldn't you?
I'm not joking. I'd love to see the Dravins back. Bring them back. Seriously.
Yeah, he wouldn't do that.
I'd be up for that too. Yes. So, as regards the Sontarans, the jury's out.
No, it's not. It's
no, it's not. It's clearly not.
If they go down that route, and you lot tell me on one of these shows, that's what they've done when these dire-looking episodes have gone out, I will be there to throw the soil on the coffin that is currently being lowered into the ground.
I just seriously want anybody who's sitting on the fence on the Sontarans, go and find this brief video clip of them running. Seriously, you will laugh your socks off.
We will go and find that out, and we will put it on the Type 40 Facebook page and Facebook.
Sorry, Dan, I was going to say, if they are running down the street like my friend Dan, I will laugh.
Between us, we will source this clip. We can't keep talking about it and not show you. So, yes, if I can find it, I'm pretty sure I know which one it is. I will make sure it's available on the Type 40 Facebook page and the Type 40 Facebook group. So knock yourselves out with that one. Anybody want a smile put back on their face?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Got to show you this picture. This is from Andy Dobson on Twitter. He started following me. I started following him as well. Saw some amazing stuff. He's got his own Dalek, but he's got his own family as well. They're a family of Dalek lovers. Check out this. Just one of many adorable pictures. I love this.
That poor kid.
Oh, bless.
That's a colander on his head. Bless him. And a loo brush. He's got a loo brush.
And a whisk. A massive smile. And
absolutely lovely.
If you look down at his Wellington boots there, he's got like flying horses and stuff. It's just a wonderful picture. This is the spirit of Doctor Who.
I agree.
Take notes. This is absolutely wonderful.
I agree.
I do worry about the children, though. I worry that the children are being reared on the Whittaker era. It does worry me.
We may have to get some. We might get some more parents in at one time and get people comparing notes. Anybody in the chat, let us know what your kids think of it all. But
please,
as a note to end on, I thought the colander, just the half on his head like that, he's clearly been running around. The Dalek is called Colin. Apparently, he's a bit of a small-scale social media celebrity himself. But if you're watching this, Andy, because I say you and I have connected recently, thank you for the pictures and all this. It's absolutely wonderful. Have fun. Be happy. And these are the best days. This is the best time of your lives. And that does about wrap it up, I think, everybody.
Thank you.
It's been sort of fun, hasn't it? I want to remind people watching, so please like the video, particularly if you've been here this long. There's a lot of people watching this time. If you've been here this long, give us a like. Only takes a second. As Problem Being would say, smash the like button or like the smash button, whichever is easiest for you. If you think we're talking a lot of old cobblers, of course, that is a possibility. Let us know if you think we've got it right, if you think we've got it all wrong, if you love the TARDISes that the guys have got here, if you'd like to see a room tour of JT's
bloody hell, I would.
I've seen
some amazing stuff.
Comments in the chat about that. Who knows?
Well, thank you.
Who knows
well,
what
tickets are £25 each.
And thank you to everybody watching in the chat. I want to remind you all that if you missed it last week, maybe live streams aren't your bag, or maybe you're so limited for time. If you missed it last week, our Doctor Who Day extravaganza, it's available now as a podcast in a slightly edited form, but you can find that on every podcatcher that you can care to name, courtesy of the Fandom Podcast Network, or you can find it over on all our social media accounts. There are links to that. Go and discover a whole world, more tangents that we dropped down on when we celebrated the Doctor's 57th birthday. That was last week. Relive it all over again like I had to when I was editing it. What else have we got? Lots of people. The chat is still coming, but sadly we are all out of time. It's great to have so many people here watching and enjoying our pain.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Along the way. What can I end on? Let's have a quick. What images have I got? Yes, a nice image here that caught my eye. I showed it earlier on there. This is James Jordan, who goes by the name of the Pridonian. I've got lots of pictures for him. We've got enough to share next week, actually, JT, now. But this is his Golden Emperors. Yeah. So, James here, who's a whiz with the CGI, has gone back and he's got all 3 versions of the Golden Emperor Dalek there from the comic strips, right up to the present one in Time Lord Victorious.
I still love the TV21 one.
We all
Gorgeous. Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Can you imagine what it must have been like to be a kid back then in the 60s and seeing those comic strips and seeing that thing?
Is that CGI, Dan? It's not toys. It's CGI.
It's completely
beautiful
generated. I'll put a link to his account in the show notes, but we'll have some more images of his next week, because there will be another show next week. But that does wrap it up for now. You say something. Okay, so another reminder: there's lots of other content on this channel, and there we are. We have Blake 7 podcast. Teleport. We drop episode 3 of Teleport next week on the 7th. As always, don't miss that. But the first 2 episodes are available on this channel in a enhanced video form. Yes, can't miss it if you're a Blake 7 fan. We have lots to talk about. Star Wars. There's Star Wars, The Boys, superheroes, any kind of show on a Saturday tea time with myself and Ian and anybody else we can pull in on that one. There's Star Trek every week with Warp Drive. We really are spoiling you with reviews of Star Trek Discovery. We watch this bloody awful show, so you don't have to.
Another one. Good grief.
Oh, the sterling work that we do. But thank you. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me to the panel too. It's been brilliant. And the Rabbi, of course, for popping in when he did. But that does wrap us up for now.
Everybody, keep the faith.
Subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe for more. If you enjoyed it this week, we'll be back for more next week, and lots more content in the roll up to Christmas. But we're going to dematerialize now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
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 Keep the faith.